He strode over quickly, then stood before me, panting. Why are you here? I smiled serenely. He spread his arms wide. His eyes crinkled with a smile. We haven't seen each other in so long. Aren't you going to give me a hug? The next second, I was pulled into an embrace. Stinky Shen, I missed you. Stinky Nuo, me too. After a brief hug, Shen Nuo let me go. 2. Follow me. I followed Shen Nuo into the grand Shen family mansion, then went upstairs. 5 minutes later, I was sitting on the sofa in Shen Nuo's room. After closing the door, all the noise and excitement were shut out. Shen Nuo still couldn't get over his surprise. Why didn't you tell me you were coming to Jingcheng? If I had known earlier, I would have picked you up at the airport. I smiled. I am here on a business trip this time. It was fate that brought me here. Shen Nuo noticed the bouquet of lilies next to me. He walked over and took it in his arms. For me, I snatched the bouquet back. It's not. I promised someone I'd deliver this to the young master of the Shen family. Don't you ruin it. I asked. By the way, which young master of the Shen family's birthday is it today? Shen Nuo suddenly frowned. His expression turned serious. You promised someone? Promised who? I seemed to realize something was wrong too. The president of Jinhua Supermedia. Xia Wanhua. Shen Nuo stood up. He threw the bouquet directly into the trash can. What are you doing? Why did you throw it away? Shen Nuo turned back around, casually pouring 2 glasses of red wine. He was wearing pajamas, exuding a playful and carefree vibe. Every gesture was incredibly handsome. Shen Nuo handed me a glass of red wine. Then he leaned against my side. If you hadn't run into me today, you would have been in big trouble. I don't understand. What's going on? Shen Nuo slowly took a sip of wine and said, Today is my cousin, Shen Yi's birthday. But he's allergic to lilies. If you had actually given him the lilies, it would have triggered his asthma. If something happened then, who would take responsibility? Shen Nuo glanced at me. You idiot. You've been used. My expression also became grave. My mind quickly processed a lot of information. Shen Yi. In my head, I couldn't help but picture the 2 words Shen Yi on Xi Qing. XU's phone. Could it be such a coincidence? I continued to ask, why would Xia Wanhua do that? She's an elder. Why would she do something like this to a junior? It's so unbecoming. Shen Nuo sighed. This is very complicated. You wouldn't understand the love-hate relationships involved. Shen Nuo explained for a long time, and I finally understood the relationships. It turns out the Xi and Shen families were related by marriage. Xia Wanhua's ex-husband is Shen Zishan, from the second branch of the Shen family. They also have a daughter named Shen Li, but not long after Shen Li was born, Xia Wanhua and Shen Zishan divorced. After the divorce, Shen Zishan married his current wife, Su Yan, just 3 months later. At the time of the wedding, Su Yan was already 5 months pregnant. In other words, while Shen Zishan was still married to Xia Wanhua, he was already having an affair with Su Yan. Although they're divorced, Xia Wanhua has relentlessly hounded this mother and son. Su Yan has no background. In her youth, she was just a third-rate star, if not for Shen Zishan. Protecting the mother and son with all his might all these years, I am afraid their bones would have rotted somewhere unknown by now. A cold sweat ran down my back as I listened. The waters of the wealthy elite are indeed deeper than one can imagine. Shen Nuo drained his glass of wine. The story wasn't over yet. Just yesterday, this cousin of mine got into a car accident. It's highly likely that the great princess of the Xia family was behind it. Something flashed in my mind. How is he? He's fine, of course. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a birthday party today. Seeing my serious expression, Shen Nuo chuckled and said, You don't need to worry too much about this cousin of mine. His backer is very powerful. Xia Wanhua must be furious. An idea formed in my head. Is his backer Xie Qing Sue? Shen Nuo was extremely surprised. You know about our Jingcheng's little princess too. My suspended heart finally dropped into the lake, sinking little by little. My face darkened along with it. Shen Nuo also noticed my expression wasn't right. He leaned over and asked, You know the little princess? I didn't answer Shen Nuo's question. Instead, I pressed him about the relationship between Xie Qing Shu and Shen Yi. What other relationship could it be? Between a man and a woman, there's only that one kind of relationship. Shen Nuo continued to explain. You've probably heard. The relationship between the great princess and the little princess of the Xia family is terrible. Forget family, describing them as enemies wouldn't be an exaggeration. Rumor has it that while the little princess was growing up, Xia Wanhua tried to kill her several times. It's just that she never succeeded. Why? Who knows why? Perhaps because the little princess is the old master's youngest daughter, and the old latest. There's a 19-year age gap between Xia Qing Shui and her eldest sister. If Xia Qing Shui hadn't been born, the Xie family's business empire would surely have been inherited by this most capable great princess. Suddenly, a spoiler appeared out of nowhere. No wonder the great princess hates her. Hating her is one thing, but to the point of killing her, she's her own sister. After all, Shen Nuo also shook his head. I don't know about that. Maybe there are other reasons. Xiena, these wealthy families in Jingcheng, the bonds between relatives are very weak. Everyone puts their interests first. Because their pie is too big, the temptation is too great. The Shai family is the head of the 4 great families in Jingcheng. The Xiao family has withdrawn from the public eye. The whole family moved abroad. Besides them, the Jue family and my Shen family combined, our assets don't even add up to a fraction of the Yexia families. Shen Nuo sighed. The waters of the Yexia family run really deep. I furrowed my brows as I listened. Shen Nuo also seemed to sense something was off. You've never been one for gossip. Why are you so interested in the Shai family's affairs today? Before I could say anything, dazzling fireworks suddenly shot up outside. The red fireworks were like a blazing fire, burning brightly in the sky, then falling. I unconsciously uttered, "It's burning rose." After saying that, I stood up and walked to the window. Shen Nuo saw me staring blankly. He thought I liked these fireworks, so he pulled me. What's so interesting about watching through a glass window? Let's go out and join the fun. I was pulled into the courtyard by Shen Nuo. Fireworks bloomed across the sky, as brilliant as sunset clouds, indescribably beautiful. Everyone in the courtyard stopped and looked up to watch, praising them endlessly. I also looked up at the firework display, unconsciously thinking of my own birthday. A whole sky of burning rose too. The thrill of the past was like a giant bubble that popped and vanished. The fireworks lasted for about 10 minutes, then it gradually became quiet again. But the courtyard became extremely lively. Everyone gathered under a sparse crabapple tree in the courtyard. The presents, big and small, under the tree were piled up like a mountain. I finally saw today's main character, Shen Yi. Shen Yi looked very young. Although he was only 3 years younger than me, the innocent and naive look on his face made him look like a high school student. Those eyes looked extremely innocent. My first impression of him was like an exquisite toy displayed in a glass cabinet. It seemed he was born to be pampered and spoiled, a little young master. He was surrounded by a group of boys. Shen Nuo and I were separated from them by an artificial pond, but it was only a few meters away. Their chatter could still reach my ears. Shen Yi, why isn't he Miss Exia here yet? Shen Yi, I heard Miss Aya created a variety show just for you. Is that true? Don't forget about us then. Shen Yi, we're so jealous of you. You're already in major shows as a place. Sophomore. Once the movies you've acted in are released, you might become an A-list young actor right away. Shen Yi has good luck. We can't even be jealous if we wanted to. Miss Saya even established an entertainment company for him. This is a one-of-a-kind favor in the entertainment industry. Our Shen Yi is the future prince consort. What's establishing a company? In the near future, I am afraid even the Saya Corporation, Miss Xia will offer up to him. Shen Yi just smiled lightly until he heard the last sentence. He said with some embarrassment, don't say things like that anymore. Fourth auntie and I are not what you think. Why do you still call her fourth auntie? That's a whole generation apart. Even Qin Li Ji calls her sister Shui. You can't be a rank lower than him. Shen Yi said seriously. Fourth auntie is fourth auntie. Don't talk nonsense. Fourth auntie won't be happy when she gets here. Not far away, there was a commotion. Someone said, Shen Yi, Miss Xie is here. The surrounding crowd unconsciously parted to make a path. A graceful figure walked straight towards him. After seeing that figure, my heart skipped a beat. Shen Nuo beside me kindly reminded, look, that's the young lady of the Xia family, Shai Qing Shui. How could I not know? The custom-made gown she wore fit her perfectly. Her exquisite features always made people forget her illustrious status and just immerse themselves in her devastating beauty. With every step, it was as if she walked on the very hearts of those around her. Xia Qingshu unhurriedly walked up to Shen Yi. Everyone around began to proactively greet her. Xia Qingshui casually nodded in response, but her gaze finally rested on Shen Yi. Shen Yi, happy birthday. Shen Yi was clearly overjoyed. He looked up at Xia Qingshui, his eyes twinkling like stars. I brought you a birthday present. See if you like it. Xia Qingshui slightly raised her hand. Gao Qin, who was following behind, stepped forward. She presented a gift box with both hands, a square, black velvet box. Then she carefully opened it. A blinding light flashed. Everyone around gasped in admiration. Inside the brocade box was a crocodile leather watch. It's the latest design from Queen. I remember this product. It was just auctioned at the Kobe Center last month. It was finally bought by a mysterious tycoon for 80 million. So it was Miss Xia who bought it as a gift for Shen Yi. I am so jealous. It turns out Miss Xia had prepared a surprise for Shen Yi so long ago. An $80 million surprise. Oh my god. Miss Xia must know that our Shen Yi likes this watch model the most. That's so thoughtful. Shen Yi was also clearly very moved, but he still looked at Xie Qingshui with some uncertainty. Fourth auntie, this gift is too valuable. Xia Qingshui smiled faintly. Her eyes were full of affection. 80 million is nothing to me, as long as you like it. I like it a lot. Thank you, fourth auntie. Someone beside them said, Miss Xia, hurry up and put it on for Shen Yi. Xia Qingshui took the watch out of the box and personally put it on for Shen Yi. Shen Yi looked extremely happy. Everyone around began to flatter them. I saw this whole scene. The corners of my mouth suddenly curled into a sarcastic smile. I designed this too. It turns out when she went to Japan, she didn't just bid on my leaving the dark for the light. Xiao Qingchuan encouraged me to open my heart to Xiao Qingsui. I was actually wavering, but luckily, those words I love you were never said. After Xie Qingshui finished giving her gift, she received a phone call. She moved away from the crowd to take the call behind the rockery. The area around Shen Yi was still very lively. Countless people surrounded him, showering him with compliments, until the appearance of Qin Li Jie shattered this harmony. Qin Li Jie arrived late. Actually, he hadn't received an invitation from the Shen family. He got through the Shen family's gate thanks to his aunt, Xue Ling. As soon as he entered, he heard everyone talking about the $80 million watch Xia Qing Xue gave to Shen Yi. He stormed straight up to Shen Yi. Sure enough, he saw an incredibly expensive watch on his wrist. Qin Li Jie went crazy with anger, pointing at Shen Yi's throat and saying, "Shen Yi, take that watch off for me." Shen Yi's friends blocked Qin Li Jie. "Qin Li Jie, take a good look. This is a gift from Miss Xia to our Shen Yi. Why should he take it off? Sister Xue is my fiancé. How could she give you such a precious gift?" Everyone burst out laughing. "Qin Li Jie, are you daydreaming? Everyone knows that our Shen Yi is the one in the little princess heart. What kind of fiancé are you? Even if old Master Xia favors you, it's useless if the little princess refuses to marry you. The Xu family has been slightly more powerful than the Shen family in recent years. There are indeed rumors outside that old Master Xia intends to form a marriage alliance with the Xu family." Qin Li Jie was shaking with anger. He had almost lost his mind. He pointed at Shen Yi and mocked loudly. "The one in her heart? I don't think so. Shen Yi, let me tell you, Sister Xue already has a boyfriend in Rongcheng." A single sentence silenced the atmosphere in an instant. Very quickly, someone pointed a finger at Qin Li Jie's nose. "Qin Li Jie, what nonsense are you spouting?" Our little princess raised Shen Yi in the palm of her hand. For so many years, the little princess hasn't had a single rumor about her. How could she possibly have a boyfriend? "Qin Li Jie, the little princess is right over there. Let's see if you dare say that to her face later." Qin Li Jie just found it funny. Aren't these people just sucking up to Shen Yi out of respect for Shai Qing Xue? But Qin Li Jie couldn't explain it clearly right now. "After all, I've been in Rongcheng for so long. I've long known that Shai Qing Xue and that pretty boy are together. Even the big screen on the XWN building every day plays that man's photo over and over again." He regretted not taking a photo or a video back then. But when everyone pressed Qin Li Jie, a dramatic scene occurred. Qin Li Jie was forced back step by step by the crowd. Just as he turned around, he saw a familiar, astonishingly handsome face. For a moment, Qin Li Jie thought he was so angry, his vision was blurring, that he was hallucinating. He rubbed his eyes and found that it wasn't. If it were before, when he saw this face, he would have wanted to slash it a few times with a knife. But now, he was overjoyed. It seemed there would be a good show to watch tonight. Qin Li Jie's expression suddenly became cocky. The smile on his face was clearly malicious. "Miss Xai's boyfriend is also here today." Everyone laughed loudly. "Qin Li Jie, you're not trying to say that you're the little princess boyfriend, are you?" Qin Li Jie snorted. His long, slender finger pointed into the air. "He's right there." Everyone followed the direction of Qin Li Jie's finger. The man Qin Li Jie was pointing at was across an artificial pond from them. The distance was actually very short, but through the mist from the Rockery's waterfall, he seemed very far away. This distance was partly psychological, because he was too handsome, so handsome that he created a sense of distance. Perfect facial features, not a single flaw could be found. His hair seemed naturally curly, accentuating his handsome, masculine face even more. Just holding a glass of champagne, standing there casually, every strand of his hair seemed to be shining. Many people stared, mesmerized. They were secretly amazed. Shen Yi saw him too. His face was full of shock and surprise. Qin Li Jie saw everyone's reaction and was extremely satisfied. That pretty boy's looks could truly crush everyone else. Just then, Xia Qing Xue finished her call and returned. She suddenly found the atmosphere extremely quiet. Qin Li Jie saw Xia Qing Xue and immediately went straight up to her. "Sister, why did you bring your boyfriend from Rongcheng here? Aren't you afraid Shen Yi will be sad?" Xia Qing Xue's face immediately darkened. "Qin Li Jie, what did you say? Mr. Gu is right over there. Last time, you said Mr. Gu was your boyfriend. You weren't lying, were you?" Qin Li Jie deliberately spoke very loudly, regardless of whether Xia Qing Xue said yes or no now. One of these two men was bound to break down. Xia Qing Xue looked towards the artificial pond and saw me. Her gaze quickly darkened, and the aura around her turned frighteningly cold. The people beside her didn't even dare to breathe loudly. On my side, it was a different scene. Shen Nuo was dumbfounded. Did I know these young masters from prestigious families too? He originally had no interest in such gossip, until they said his Xian was the little princess boyfriend. How absurd. It was completely unrelated. But when he looked over at Xian, he suddenly realized something was wrong. At this moment, Xian was extremely calm. I was holding a glass of wine, with one hand resting on the wooden railing. The corner of my mouth was lifted in a smile, and my whole body exuded a lazy, calm aura. But with his understanding of me, this smile was a huge problem. Especially when the tear mole at the corner of my eye lifted slightly, it meant that 10,000 alpacas were stampeding through my heart. Could it be that Xian really had a relationship with the little princess of Jingcheng? Over there, Qin Li Jie was determined to stir up trouble today. He shouted towards me, "Reporter Gu, Miss Xia is here. Come over here." I smiled, stood up straight, and walked across the corridor over the artificial pond with my wine glass, heading towards the crowd. in just 2 or 3 minutes. I was standing in front of Qin Li Jie. Haven't seen you in a few days, but your voice is as piercing as ever. Even the bird in the tree just now was startled by you and flew away. Qin Li Jie frowned. What bird? It's so late at night. The people around covered their mouths and snickered. Qin Li Jie, he's saying you're noisy. When Qin Li Jie heard that, he flew into a rage. But tonight, Qin Li Jie, the main person to deal with isn't me. He turned around, facing Xia Qing Xue again, and tried to force a smile. Sister Xue, would you like to introduce journalist Gu to everyone? Xian. Everyone's eyes turned to Xia Qing's way. Qin Li Jie clearly had bad intentions. Could it be true? Just as Qin Li Jie said, that this man is the little princess boyfriend from Rongcheng. Previously, everyone thought the little princess was abroad. Then, on old Mrs. Jia's birthday, they learned that for the past 3 years, the little princess has been in a small place called Rongcheng. My gaze also fell on Xia Qing Xue. I didn't say anything, just smiled at her. I also wanted to hear how Xia Qing Xue would introduce me to everyone. Xia Qing Xue looked at me, her eyes incredibly cold. After a long moment, she spoke coldly. I am not close with him. Hearing that, I felt as if someone had squeezed my heart, but the smile on my face didn't fade. It even deepened. Qin Li Ji grew impatient. Sister Xue, you said it in front of all of us back then, that this man was your boyfriend. Now you're saying you're not close. You're clearly lying. What's wrong? Afraid Shen Yi will get jealous, so you don't dare to tell the truth? Qin Li Jie, Xia Qing Xue, called his name coldly, a clear trace of anger in her voice. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. How could the little princess possibly have another boyfriend? Qin Li Jie snorted. Don't you dare admit it in front of Shen Yi, Sister Xue. Xia Qing Xue still hadn't said anything, when I suddenly burst out laughing. You've misunderstood. When Xia Qing Xue said that sentence, I had already made my decision. Qin Li Jie looked at me. What do you mean? That day, CEO Xia and I actually met by chance. She did me a favor and wanted me to return it. So, I went with her to meet you all and put on an act in that private room. Don't you understand why? Qin Li Jie was a bit stunned. An act? CEO Xia wanted me to pretend to be her boyfriend, just to get rid of a pest. I looked towards Xia Qing Xue, the corner of my mouth curling up. My words were like a butterfly flapping its wings over the heart. Indeed, CEO Xia and I are not close at all. Xia Qing Xu's expression darkened, as if she were trying to suppress something, but no matter what, she couldn't show it now, because she knew this party had many of Xia Wanhua's spies. Qin Li Jie was crushed by my words. Is what he's saying true? To get away from me, you found a man to put on an act? Do you hate me that much? Xia Qing Xue looked at Qin Li Jie, her eyes filled with iciness. Qin Li Jie, I thought I'd made myself clear enough. I don't like you, and I could never like you. The Xia family will absolutely not form a marriage alliance with the Xia family, so don't come and bother me anymore. Qin Li Ji was devastated. He turned and ran. The surrounding whispers continued. The little princess is completely devoted to our Shen Yi. It's a good thing she wasn't provoked by Qin Li Jie. Little princess, Shen Yi is all grown up now. You should hurry up and make your relationship with our Shen Yi official. Shut up. Xia Qing Xue finally spoke. Her voice was frighteningly cold. This woman was clearly in a very bad mood. It's all Qin Li Ji's fault. No one dared to say anything else. Only Shen Yi slowly stepped forward. He glanced at Xia Qing Xue. Shen Yi spoke carefully. Auntie Sai, are you okay? Xia Qing Xue seemed to snap out of it. She turned her head and looked down at Shen Yi, her eyes filled with tenderness. Fine. If Qin Li Jie comes to bother you again, just give me a call. Shen Yi nodded. Then, his gaze fell on me once again. Is this the friend you brought? Auntie. Shen Yi didn't know me, and naturally, my name wasn't on the guest list. Since he's Xia Qing Xu's friend from Rongcheng, she must have brought him. Just then, Shen Nuo suddenly took a step forward and slung an arm around my shoulders. He's my friend. He came to visit me today. Shen Yi seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, his mood improving considerably. So you're my cousin's friend? Then I've been so impolite, Shen Nuo said casually. Forget about being polite. He didn't come here for you anyway. After saying that, he lowered his head and said to me, let's go. Xian, let's ignore them and go upstairs to hang out. Shen Nuo was skinny, but very tall. I chuckled. It's late. I should be going. I glanced at Shen Yi. Young Master Shen. Happy birthday. I'll take my leave now. After saying that, I turned to leave. Shen Nuo immediately chased after me. Xian, I'll walk you out. The two of them disappeared into the Shen family's courtyard together, looking in the direction they had disappeared. The others quickly changed the subject. Shen Yi, let's go, cut the cake. You and the little princess can cut it together. Shen Yi turned to look at Xia Qing Xue with a look of anticipation. Auntie Sai, is that okay? Xia Qing Xu nodded. Okay. Meanwhile, Shen Nuo drove me to the hotel. I sat in the passenger seat, staring at the scenery outside the window. Without saying a word, I no longer had the pretense from before. My whole body was slumped in the seat, like a sick cat. Are you okay? I leaned against the car window, watching the bustling streetlights outside. I am fine. What on earth is going on? Xian, How did you get involved with someone like Xie Qing Shui? I tilted my head and suddenly chuckled. She's the young lady I'm keeping. I've kept her for 3 years. Shen Nuo was so shocked to hear this that his hands trembled on the steering wheel. She's the one you were talking about. Previously, Shen Nuo was abroad, and we kept in touch occasionally. He actually knew a little about my situation. I laughed. I am impressive. Right? Shen Nuo gave me a thumbs up. So cool. You're so damn cool. Casually keeping a young lady. And it turns out to be a billionaire's little princess. I laughed too. Shen Nuo saw that I didn't seem very heartbroken, but he felt something was off. And Shi-an, are you really okay? I am fine. She's just a young lady. If we break up, we break up. Should I really live and die for her? It's not worth it. My voice was faint. Actually, I thought so too in my heart. I even felt a little lucky. So much had happened recently that almost made me fall too deep. And yet I was so foolish. I wanted to confess, but luckily, heaven helped me out. When I was being foolish, I encountered today's scene. Moreover, I am also very grateful that Xie Qing Shui personally gave me the answer that she and I were not close, was the choice she made after weighing the pros and cons. Of course, I wouldn't cling to her and expose her pretense. I even gave her a helping hand, helping her get rid of the troublemaker, Qin Liji, and also helping her in front of that young master Shen maintain her image. She must feel grateful to me in her heart. Why did I do that? The breakup with Wen Yue Ting before was not very pleasant, so naturally, something like that wouldn't happen again. The next day, Tang, Ling, and I went to the Jingcheng television station again, as expected. We also ran into Xia Wanhua. Only Xia Wanhua and I were in the large meeting room. Little Gu, what you did yesterday truly disappointed me a little. Xia Wanhua sat in a genuine leather office chair, still in a neat and elegant business suit, looking at me. Her whole body exuded the oppressive feeling of a superior. I was neither arrogant nor humble. What did the chairwoman want to see? Me claiming to be Shai Qing X Yu's boyfriend and causing trouble with young Master Shen, or young Master Shen having an asthma attack because of a bouquet of lilies and being sent to the hospital? The corner of Xia Wanhua's mouth lifted, a hint of appreciation in her eyes. Little Ju, you really make me see you in a new light. Compared to Shen Yi, I like you more. Perhaps you're the one who can enter our extra family. I wouldn't dare think of it. Chairwoman, saying these words now is just another attempt to turn me into a pawn. You don't like Shen Yi. You want to use me to drive a wedge between Xia Qing Shui and young Master Shen, but I don't want to be your pawn. Xia Wanhua's gaze was sharp. You should know that many people want to be my pawn. I know, but I am not interested. But this only sister of mine chose you. I didn't even know that you two had been together for over 3 years. Miss Xie and I had a fleeting romance. It was mutually beneficial, just for fun. There were no feelings involved at all. If the chairwoman wants to bet on me, then it would surely be a waste of time. I smiled, very frankly. Besides, Miss Xia and I completely ended things last night. Shai Wanhua's eyes were full of appreciation. I really like your personality, but I don't like to force others. If one day you are willing to step into this chess game, you're welcome to come back and find me anytime. I also smiled nonchalantly. I don't think that day will ever come. After saying that, I took my leave. Xia Wanhua watched my retreating back, the corner of her mouth lifting into a meaningful smile. Immediately after, she picked up her phone and dialed a number. Has the acquisition agreement for the Rongcheng station been drafted? In the afternoon, I asked Tangling for leave. For the next 2 days, I wouldn't be going to the Jingcheng station anymore. I didn't want to have any more dealings with Xia Wanhua's forces. Luckily, for the next 2 days, Shen Nuo was with me the whole time. The two of us went to the Daijing Clubhouse to drink. Daijing is one of Jingcheng's most luxurious and top-tier entertainment clubhouses. Shen Nuo said he wanted to find me some beautiful female models. I leaned back on the chair in the private room and glanced at him. Stop kidding around. Do you know how I got together with Xia Qing Shu in the first place? She was the female model you found back then. Shen Nuo slapped his forehead, remembering it again. Initially, after I married Wen Yu Ting took Song X and Yu abroad to cheer me up. He dragged me to Lanhai to drink, and even found me Lanhai's most beautiful female model to drink with. Unexpectedly, it was Miss Shia. Shen Nuo remarked with emotion. Rich people's hobbies are so strange. They like to be prostitutes. Aren't you rich too? The Shen family is also a prestigious family in Jingcheng society. Shen Nuo said, I am rich, but my hobbies are very normal. I just like to call for prostitutes. Without another word, Shen Nuo called the clubhouse's general manager over. Not long after, 4 female models with outstanding looks were standing in front of the private room. I was speechless. Shen Nuo, are you serious? Shen Nuo sat down next to me and slung an arm around my neck. These girls are all students working part-time here. Some are from the art university, and some are from the Performing Arts Academy. They're not unclean people. I just called them over to drink and play games. I looked at the people in front of me. Indeed, each small face looked young and innocent, with naive expressions. Shen Nuo suddenly leaned into my ear. That cousin of mine is here tonight. He's meeting a big Hollywood director. I heard Miss Xie set it up. Their car is already parked downstairs. They're about to come up now. I froze for a moment. No wonder when Shen Nuo first came in, He found the most conspicuous private room. This is the required path to go upstairs to the private rooms, meaning if Xie Shui and Shen Yi came together, they would definitely see us. I sighed internally. Shen Nuo has been like this since we were kids, extremely protective of his own people and very vengeful. When he found out that Wen Yu Ting and Song Xin Yu had cheated on me together, he was the first one to rush up and punch Song Xin Yu, giving him a concussion. He was in the hospital for half a month. Of course, the price was also very high because we were still in school. It attracted a large crowd, and we were severely disciplined by the school. Wen Yue Ting reported us to the police for intentional assault and refused to settle. We were detained for a few days. In the end, it was Feng Yuping who stepped in to resolve the matter. Many times, I don't want Shen Nuo to stand up for me, which is also why there are some things I don't tell Shen Nuo. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Suddenly, there was a commotion outside the door. Sha Shui and Shen Yi entered, surrounded by a crowd of people. At first glance, I saw the crocodile leather watch on his wrist. It was the one Xie Shui had given him last night. Xie Shui walked beside him. These two. One is a prestigious young lady. One is the young master of a great family. 4 years apart, she has been waiting for him to grow up, cherishing him in the palm of her hand. Never mind them. Even I was starting to ship them. The two of them were like the moon surrounded by stars, completely oblivious to anyone else around them. As they passed by my private room, Shen Nuo suddenly said in a loud voice, "You ladies, take good care of our Xian today. Make our Xian happy. And tonight, Xian will take you out for a late-night snack." The 4 girls understood and quickly sat down, 2 on each side of me. "Sir, I have the best alcohol tolerance. Let's play a drinking game." I played along. "All right, but winning and losing must have some stakes. The loser drinks a glass. How about that?" I smiled faintly. "What's so interesting about drinking? How about this? If I lose, I'll drink 3 glasses, and if you girls lose once, you take off 1 piece of clothing. How about it?" "Sir, you're so naughty." Hearing the familiar voice, Xie Shu immediately stopped in her tracks. She turned around and saw me surrounded by several gaudily dressed girls. Their looks and figures were all top-notch, and they were doing everything to please me. One of them was playing a drinking game, lost a round, and was shyly about to take off her outer jacket. Xie Shui looked as if she had been struck on the head with a club, almost as a conditioned reflex. She walked towards me. The people who were originally surrounding her were also very surprised, but followed one by one. Shen Yi's expression also changed slightly, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. Soon, Xie Sui was standing in front of me. "What are you doing?" Her voice was low and cold, clearly suppressing a burst of anger. I looked up but said nothing, giving Xie Sui a half-smile. At that moment, Shen Nuo stood up. "Isn't this the little princess? What a coincidence. Are you here to have fun too?" Xie Shui glanced coldly at Shen Nuo. "Is this how young Master Shen usually entertains his friends?" Shen Nuo sat down next to me, slung an arm around my neck, and looked at Xie Shui with a sincere expression. "Of course, for the past 3 years, I've treated my friends consistently. Miss Xie should know that." Shen Nuo's meaning was very clear. He was referring to 3 years ago, when he and I met in the same way. Xie Su's expression grew even colder. Shen Nuo stood up and generously said to the 4 girls sitting next to me, "What are you afraid of? Keep playing. Miss Xie played much wilder than you girls back then." How could those 4 not know the young lady's name? To survive in Jingqing circles, the one person you can't afford to offend is the one right in front of them. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know how you died. The 4 of them trembled. "Get out, all of you." Xia Shu couldn't bear it anymore and ordered them. The 4 girls hurried away. Shen Nuo sat with a dissatisfied expression on the leather sofa in the private room, one hand on my shoulder, the other arm draped over the back of the sofa. He was wearing a tank top with a floral shirt over it. The floral shirt was unbuttoned, worn like a cloak. He crossed his legs with the debauched air of a playboy. "Miss Xia, this ruins the fun. Why is it that only you are allowed to play, while we commoners aren't allowed to enjoy the good life?" "Shen Nuo, you get out too." Xia Su's gaze was fixed on Shen Nuo's hand on my shoulder. Shen Nuo's fingers were long and slender, with distinct knuckles, like a jade flute. That hand was very beautiful. I heard Xie Shui speak to Shen Nuo like that, and my smiling face suddenly darkened. No one could talk to Shen Nuo like that. I looked straight into Xie Xu's eyes. "CEO XI, have my friend and I done something wrong? Or is it that only you, Miss Xia, are allowed to come to Dijing? We came here to have fun. We paid and followed the rules here. No one has the right to make us leave. If Miss Xia doesn't want to see us, then leave yourself. There's a first-come, first-served basis for everything, right?" Although the corners of my mouth were curved up, my eyes held a distant coldness. Xie Su had rarely seen such a cold expression on my face, like a frozen lake without a trace of warmth. Shen Yi also came from behind to stand beside Xia Xwei. He looked up at Xie Xu's cold face. "Anti-Sai, what's wrong?" Xie Xu's tense face seemed to relax a little. She turned and said to Shen Yi, "Shen Yi, you go to the private room first. I'll be there shortly." Shen Yi was very obedient. He didn't ask another single question and turned around to leave. First, it's just that, as he was leaving, his gaze was directed towards the sofa, giving me a deep look. The people next to Xia Qing Shui were also led away by Gao Qin. In an instant, only I was left in the booth, Shen Nuo and Xia Qing Shui, the three of us. Shen Nuo looked at the way we were looking at each other and understood. He stood up and said, "She An, although she's the young lady you're keeping, but you've kept her for 3 years after all. Even if it were a dog, you'd have developed feelings by now. You should at least say a proper goodbye." I glared fiercely at Shen Nuo. Sooner or later, he's going to die because of that mouth of his. I wouldn't even dare say something like that, yet Shen Nuo stood up without a care and swaggered off. Xia Qing Xu's expression had become extremely ugly. I took the initiative to speak. Shen Nuo's mouth has always been like that. He's like that with everyone. Don't take what he says to heart. Why didn't you tell me you were coming to Jingcheng? I smiled, my eyes sparkling with charm. Why should I have told you? I didn't come here for you. After saying that, I smiled brightly at her. Besides, if I had really told you, then yesterday wouldn't have had such a big surprise. Xia Qing Shui said nothing. I also didn't expect her to be too lazy to even offer a single sentence of explanation. But this is good too. I spoke up. Do you know why I appeared at young Master Shen's birthday party? Xia Qing Shui looked at me silently, as if waiting for my next sentence. It was your sister, the president of Jinghua Media, who shoved an invitation into my hands and even told me to order a bouquet of lilies for young Master Shen. The color in Xia Qing Su's eyes darkened, and her expression became particularly cold. I'd already guessed. On Shen Yi's 20th birthday, how could she possibly let it go so easily? Xia Yuanhua even invited me into her game, to be a pawn to drive a wedge between you and young Master Shen, even using the position of the Xia family's son-in-law as bait. Xia Qing Shu stared into my eyes. So what? I refused. I smiled very casually. Xia Qing Jue, I saved face for you. Shouldn't you be thanking me properly? A bad premonition grew in Xia Qing Su's heart. Xian, what exactly are you trying to say? I stood up and walked over to Xia Qing Shu, reaching out to lift Xia Qing Xu's chin, just like the way I used to tease her before. Although my face still held the usual smile, my voice was unusually cold. We should break up now. Xia Qing Shui. What if I say no? Xia Qing Shui, you know that back then, songs in you, as the third party, interfered with my relationship, so I will absolutely not allow myself to become a third party. Even if we were just having fun without any feelings involved, I will absolutely not destroy someone else's relationship. Gu Xian, don't the 3 years we spent together make you feel any attachment at all? I smiled and shook my head. Xia Qing Sui, look at yourself now. How are you any different from Wen Yue Ting back then? Even your tone of voice is exactly the same. Hearing me compare her to Wen Yue Ting, her face darkened. Xia Qing Shui, let's not expose each other. After all, there were no real feelings between us anyway. Let's part amicably today, and I wish you and young Master Shen can become a couple. If you send me a wedding invitation then, I will definitely attend the banquet. After saying that, I turned to leave. I had just taken 2 steps when Xia Qing Shui chased after me and immediately grabbed my arm. Her eyes were clearly suppressing something. She gripped my arm tightly, as if I would disappear if she let go. Your things will be packed up. When the time comes, just have Secretary Gao come and get them, I said calmly. From now on, if there's nothing important, we don't need to see each other again. Xia Qing Xue was about to say something when she suddenly noticed in the second-floor private room corridor, a dark figure was staring in this direction. Xia Qing Shui gritted her teeth and finally forced a word through her teeth. Fine. If you've thought it through, then let's break up. Then she slowly let go of my hand. I still couldn't help but ask one more question. If you already had someone you loved in your heart, why did you still seek me out? Was it because you couldn't stand the loneliness and needed to satisfy your physical needs? Xia Qing Xu's expression returned to its usual indifference, but her face was pale. Her voice became calm and cold. You said we wouldn't talk about feelings between us, just looking for fun, so what's the need to know this now? I laughed, and suddenly felt a sense of relief. Goodbye, Miss Xia. Then I left. Shen Nuo is waiting for you outside. What's up? Said your goodbyes. I took a deep breath. Anyway, I've already said everything that needed to be said. After speaking, I put my arm around Shen Nuo's shoulder. Getting rid of a huge nuisance is worth celebrating. Come on, it'll treat you to hot pot. That night I ate a lot of things, and all of it was super spicy. It was so spicy that I was crying by the end. Seeing this, Shen Nuo could only sigh in his heart. He really did have feelings for her. But no matter what, he knew I was very clear-headed. The waters of the Xia family run so deep, anyone who steps in will only drown. He didn't want me and the Xia family to have any kind of relationship. I stayed in Jingcheng for 2 days, then returned to Rongcheng. After returning, life went on as usual, going to work, getting off work every day. The only difference was probably that in the Lu Yin villa, there was no longer any sign of Xia Qing Shui. I packed up all of Xia Qing Xu's belongings, then finally sent a message to Xia Qing Sui, telling her to send someone to pick up her things, and then deleted all of Xia Qing Xue's contact methods. But Xia Qing Shui didn't send anyone to get her things. I had no choice but to put the large bags and small luggage into the storage room. The villa seemed much emptier. Although this house was initially said to be a gift for ex-Xia Qing Xue, the deed was never transferred. Xia Qing Xu's true identity had been exposed, so naturally, the procedures were no longer completed, so the owner of the Luyin villa was still me. Lately, I haven't been sleeping well, and my dosage of sleeping pills has increased a bit. But there was some good news, which was that the Shen family intended to be in Rongcheng to build a new car factory, and Shen Nuo was the person in charge, and would soon move to Rongcheng. The two of us could once again spend our days together, which was God-sent news. For me. Very quickly. Half a month passed. Today was a momentous day. Li Shufen's case was being retried, and the verdict was announced today. This matter could be said to have shaken the entire city, because the result of the trial was justifiable self-defense. She was acquitted and released. The appeal hearing had a lot of new evidence, plus Lai Xufen's adopted son testified in court, of course. I knew. The biggest contributor behind this was the XI family's undefeated legal team. I thought at most it would be changed to excessive self-defense, with a reduced sentence, but I never expected the final result to be an acquittal. Of course, I had long arranged for the news of the trial to be told to Qin Huilan by the gossipy Mrs. Li. So Qin Huilan was present at the court, watching Gu Hao Ming testify, and also witnessed with her own eyes the court declare Lai Xiufen innocent and release her. Gu Hao Ming walked out of the courthouse, and Qin Huilan immediately stepped forward and slapped Gu Hao Ming straight across the face. Gu Hao Ming was stunned by the slap. After returning to the Gu family for 3 years, Qin Huilan had given him almost everything he wanted. No matter what he did, she had never blamed him. Gu Haoming knew that Qin Huilan felt very guilty towards him and only wanted to make it up to him. He knew that by testifying in court, Qin Huilan probably wouldn't be happy, but he didn't expect Qin Huilan's reaction to be so severe. Gu Haoming, if you're so worried about that mother of yours, then go and be her son. After hearing Qin Huilan's words, Gu Haoming was so scared he froze on the spot. It was a long time before he reacted, chasing after Qin Huilan. Mom, I am your son, your biological son. You're my only mother, and I only acknowledge you as my mother. Mom, don't abandon me. Seeing Qin Huilan's sudden change of expression, Gu Haoming immediately panicked. Qin Huilan had never treated him so coldly. You said you only acknowledge me as your mother, so why did you testify in court? You clearly know that Li Xiufen and I have an irreconcilable feud. Back then, her mother seduced my father, which angered my mother to death and nearly destroyed my family. Then she swapped my child. With such a deep-seated hatred, I can never forgive her in this lifetime. Someone like her should die in prison. But you, my biological son, went to court and committed perjury, letting that bitch go free. Qin Huilan looked at Gu Haoming with eyes full of both heartbreak and anger. Gu Haoming, you've truly disappointed me so much. Gu Haoming was also panicking inside. That's not it. Gu Haoming hurriedly explained. I leisurely walked over and spoke nonchalantly. That's right, Gu Haoming. How could you commit perjury in court? When Gu Haoming saw it was me, his anger instantly flared up. Moreover, a crowd of reporters appeared out of nowhere, pointing their cameras at Gu Haoming and snapping photos non-stop. Gu Haoming naturally knew my purpose was to frame him, to slander his name. Du Xian, don't you dare slander me. Where did I commit perjury? Every single word I said was the truth. I spoke slowly. In court, you said that Li Xiufen treated you like her own son. Weren't you lying? Faced with so many cameras, Gu Haoming didn't dare to speak recklessly. I am not lying. Li Xiufen treated me very well. Although she's not my biological mother, she really wasn't bad to me. Gu Xian. Don't stand here trying to mislead public opinion. On this point, Gu Haoming was indeed not lying, so when facing those reporters, his tone was very confident. I smiled but said nothing more, turning to leave. Before long, the crowd of reporters surrounding Gu Haoming also dispersed. Gu Haoming had a confused expression, not knowing what kind of trick I had just pulled. Gu Haoming turned around to see Qin Huilan with a grave expression, staring at me coldly. Gu Haoming quickly admitted his mistake. Mom, please believe me. In my heart, I only acknowledge you as my mother. But Qin Huilan suddenly asked, didn't you used to say that Li Xiufen abused you since you were little, that she tormented you day and night? So how has it now become that she treated you like her own son? In Qin Huilan's eyes, Gu Haoming had committed perjury, because after Gu Haoming returned, he had always accused Li Xiufen and her husband of how they had abused him. This was also the deepest pain in Qin Huilan's heart. She felt extremely guilty towards Gu Haoming and hated Li Xiufen to the bone. But now, Gu Haoming suddenly changed his story, saying Li Xiufen treated him very well. Today, in court, to prove Li Xiufen's character, he had recounted many stories from his upbringing about how Li Xiufen had selflessly sacrificed for him. If those things were true, then it was just too ridiculous. Gu Haoming was stunned. He finally understood why I had just, in front of a crowd of reporters, asked such a question. It turned out I was digging a pit here waiting for him. He had almost forgotten that in the past, in order to gain Qin Huilan's pity and sympathy, he had slandered Li Xiufen so much. Gu Haoming stammered a bit, not knowing how to answer Qin Huilan's question, so he decisively changed the subject, pointing the spear at me. Mom, actually, my testifying in court was all arranged by Gu Xian. He teamed up with Aisha Qing Shui to trick me. He even wants to drive a wedge between us. Mom, you absolutely must not be provoked by him. Actually, these past few days, Gu Haoming had been feeling that something was very strange. At this moment, he completely understood. The so-called appeal was just a play directed by Xia Qing Shui and me for him. During this period, every time he went to find Xia Qing Shui, he was turned away at the door, and when he used the case details as an excuse, Xia Qing Shui only sent her lawyer to work with him, let alone developing a private relationship. He hadn't spoken more than 3 sentences to Xia Qing Shui. The more Gu Haoming thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong. He was definitely being used by me. I must have told Xia Qing Shui to incite him to come forward, which could both publicize his relationship with Li Xiufen, making him a laughingstock in high society, and also destroy his relationship with Qin Hui Lan. Gu Haoming completely understood now. Mom, Gu Xian is setting me up everywhere. But Qin Hui Lan appeared completely unmoved. I am just asking you, did Li Xiufen abuse you or not? Gu Haoming was a little dazed. Why was Qin Hui Lan so fixated on this issue? Of course, she didn't abuse me. I could have lived the rich life of a young master. She stole me away. She had a guilty conscience. It was too late for her to feel guilty towards me. She wasn't bad to me, but that was all what she owed me. If she hadn't swapped the 2 children back then, I could have grown up by your side, and I would have been 100 times more outstanding than Gu Xian. Qin Hui Lan felt as if something had stabbed her heart fiercely. The past from over 20 years ago was still vivid. That year, Li Xiufen's mother had an affair with her father, indirectly causing her mother's death. Less than 3 months after her mother's death, her father announced he wanted to marry Li Xiufen's mother. She had loudly denounced on the school's radio that Li Xiufen was the daughter of a mistress, causing her to be bullied by the entire school. Li Xiufen was forced onto the rooftop by her. After the truth about Gu Haoming's and my identities was revealed, her towering hatred surged up again. Finally, she could confirm that Li Xiufen was definitely not the type of person who didn't fight or compete, a person with selfless, great love. Not only did she swap her own child, she also abused him. Finally, she could rightfully hate this person, but now Gu Haoming was saying she treated him like her own son. Why? If she were truly kind, how could she have swapped these 2 children? If she were truly evil, how could she, upon learning that Gu Haoming was her son, treat him so well? Li Xiufen, what exactly are you thinking? What kind of person are you? Really? Qin Hui Lan was lost in the past, unable to escape. Now she didn't want to pay any attention at all to the words Gu Haoming was saying. The feelings of disappointment and complexity welling up in her heart were about to overwhelm her. In the end, Qin Hui Lan turned around directly, got into her family's private car, and told the driver to drive away. Gu Haoming stood on the spot, his fingers clenched tightly. Gu Xian, I will absolutely not let you go. Meanwhile, Li Xiufen, who had been acquitted, also walked out of the courthouse. Seeing Gu Haoming's extremely complicated expression, she only watched from a distance. She never expected Gu Haoming to appeal, having thought that this son of hers wished she would stay in prison for life. Gu Haoming, of course, also saw Li Xiufen. Gu Haoming walked straight towards Li Xiufen. Haoming, Mom can finally see you. Li Xiufen took a step forward, wanting to take Gu Haoming's hand. In the years she was in prison, Gu Haoming never once visited her, but the angry Gu Haoming shook her hand away. Mom, whose mother are you? I appealed to get you out, but that doesn't mean I acknowledge you as my mother. If you hadn't swapped my life and Gu Xian's back then, would my life now not be so smooth? Gu Haoming looked at Li Xiufen with utter disgust. Don't come looking for me again in the future. Go find your biological son, Gu Xian. He's your son. Tell him to take care of you in your old age and handle your funeral. After speaking, Gu Haoming turned and left. Li Xiufen stood frozen on the spot. The midday sun was very harsh, hot, as if being roasted over a fire, and not far away, Qin Hui Lan sat in the car and happened to see this scene. Her disappointment and heartache for Gu Haoming deepened another layer. Li Xiufen walked out of the courthouse, looking up at the bustling traffic on the road, feeling a bit dazed for a moment. Just as she was about to look for a bus stop to go home, a red Mercedes stopped in front of her. Then the car windows slowly rolled down, revealing a handsome and refined face from inside. Mrs. Li, I'll take you home. Li Xiufen was stunned for a moment, but she recognized him immediately. She had seen a picture of that child. In the end, Li Xiufen got in the car. The car quickly started and merged into the city's traffic. I calmly introduced myself. I'm Gu Xian. Li Xiufen's expression was complicated. She said hurriedly, I recognize you. I have seen your photo. When she went to prison, she brought 2 photos with her. One was of Gu Haoming, one was of me. When Li Xiufen faced me, she was clearly a little nervous, but I was as casual as ever. I asked while driving, do you have a place to stay? Li Xiufen said, I used to live in Jinshu Yuan. I drove straight there. Jinshu Yuan is an old resettlement apartment complex, but its location isn't bad, near the city center. I drove for 20 minutes and arrived. I parked the car casually in the complex. Li Xiufen got out of the car. Mr. Gu, thank you for taking me home. Come up for a cup of tea before you go. I called her Mrs. Li, clearly not wanting to acknowledge her as my mother, but Li Xiufen was not disappointed at all. How could she be worthy of being his mother? I didn't refuse. Li Xiufen's apartment was on the ground floor of a high-rise building. Li Xiufen, from the shoe cabinet by the door, found a key, then opened the door and went in. It was a dim feeling. Li Xiufen quickly pulled open the curtains. Having been unoccupied for 3 years, it was dusty everywhere. Don't mind the mess, Mr. Jiu. I looked at the dusty house and said, I'll find a housekeeper to come and clean. No need, no need. The house isn't big. I'll finish cleaning it myself in a bit. Cook a meal for me. I want to eat the food you cook. I suddenly said such a thing. Li Xiufen was completely stunned, standing in the living room for a long time, unable to recover. Tears were about to fall unconsciously. Li Xiufen quickly turned away. There's a vegetable supermarket in the neighborhood. I'll go buy some food. After speaking, she quickly ran out of the house. I made a phone call directly, hired 2 hourly maids. After hanging up, I started to look around this small house. Although the house isn't large, it has everything one could need. Moreover, it's decorated very cozily. Although the living room is covered in dust, the color of the sofa and the combination of the furniture were clearly chosen with great care. Everything is arranged very neatly. The pots and pans in the kitchen are also placed very tidily. I can feel that. The owner of this room has a great love for life. The living room connects to a small balcony. A small wind chime hangs on the balcony. A breeze blew by, making a tinkling sound. Outside the balcony, there is a small yard. It's now overgrown with weeds, but there's a vegetable trellis in the yard. It looks very exquisite. One can imagine that 3 years ago, this was surely a yard full of fruits and flowers. I went back inside the house. I opened a door. This must be Gu Haoming's room. Gu Haoming's room is also kept very tidy. The bed and curtains are both sky blue. Moreover, the furniture inside is clearly a notch higher in quality than the things outside. The maid started cleaning the rooms. I sat on the living room sofa and watched TV. Li Xiufen quickly went into the kitchen and started washing vegetables to cook. I got up and walked over. Do you need my help? I don't know how to cook, but I can help with some small things. Li Xiufen suddenly smiled. No need. No need. I am a very good cook. This kitchen is small. It can't fit 2 people. You go to the living room and watch TV. I didn't insist. After all, I'm really not good in the kitchen. Very quickly, the maids finished cleaning. The whole house looked almost brand new. The window panes were spotless. The midday sun shone in, and the room instantly brightened up. On the other side, Mrs. Li had also finished cooking. She ladled out the last pot of chicken soup, placed it on the table, and called me to eat. Mr. Gu, come and eat. I got up and walked over. I didn't expect that in just a short hour, Li Xiufen had made a full table of food. A full 8 dishes filled the small dining table. Just looking at them, you could tell they were perfect in color, aroma, and taste. Mr. Ju, you must be hungry, right? Hurry and eat. Li Xiufen had already served me a bowl of rice. She got me chopsticks and even a bottle of coconut water. I didn't stand on ceremony and sat down. It looked delicious. I picked up a piece of braised pork and put it in my mouth. After a few chews, my eyes revealed extreme surprise. This is the most delicious braised pork I have ever eaten. It's even more delicious than the one Xia Qing Shui makes. A smile appeared on Li Xiufen's face. Haoming doesn't like my cooking. He says that no matter how good it looks, it still tastes of poverty. After saying that, she sighed. But very quickly, Li Xiufen realized that it was inappropriate for her to say these things now. Li Xiufen's face was full of embarrassment, but I smiled as if I didn't mind. I've eaten at pretty much all the high-end restaurants in Rongcheng, but I have yet to eat any food cooked with more skill than yours. An indescribable warmth rose in Li Xiufen's heart. The two of them started eating. Li Xiufen was clearly a bit cautious with me. She didn't dare to put food on my plate. She only occasionally told me to eat more. I had 2 bowls of chicken soup. Today, I was truly stuffed. Putting down my chopsticks, I said, "Thank you." This meal was very satisfying. Li Xiufen was clearly very happy too. I am glad you liked it. If you want to eat in the future, you can come over anytime. My expression changed slightly. I looked at Li Xiufen calmly. Li Xiufen thought she had said something wrong, and quickly explained, "It's okay if you don't come. I don't have any intention of currying favor. Can I ask you a question?" Li Xiufen looked at me. "Tell me, why did you swap me and go Haoming? Why did you abandon me?" For the past 3 years, I've investigated Li Xiufen extensively. From neighbors, friends, and even the several employers she had as a nanny, she has a very good reputation. In everyone's eyes, Li Xiufen is an extremely kind and benevolent person. She endures hardship without yielding. She's even a very reasonable and generous woman. A woman like that, why would she abandon her own child? Could it really be because of a past grudge, or did she want her son to live a life of wealth and luxury? I had thought of many answers. Li Xiufen lowered her head. She was silent for a long time. She tried to hold back her tears. Just when I thought she wouldn't give an answer, Li Xiufen finally looked up. "You probably won't believe this, but I never thought about swapping you and Haoming. The matter of swapping the babies, I knew absolutely nothing about it." Hearing these words, the heavy stone in my heart finally fell. That's right. I had also considered this possibility. There's another possibility. I said, It was Zhao Decheng, right? Zhao Decheng swapped me and Gu Haoming, and he didn't tell you about it. Tears welled up in Lai Shufen's eyes. She had never told anyone about this. Only Gu Haoming knew, but Gu Haoming didn't care. What he cared about was that his identity as a rich young master had been swapped. What he cared about was the bright future and prospects of his life being completely ruined by that couple. Therefore, Gu Haoming hated them deeply. From the moment he found out he was the young master of the Gu family, he wanted to completely cut ties with them. Lai Shufen nodded. You and Haoming were both born at Hime Maternity Center. Hime is a high-end private hospital. The reason I could give birth there was because I worked there as a nurse. The kind hospital director let me give birth there for free. But on the day you and Haoming were born, a lot of things happened. The usually high-end hospital became chaotic. Many people were transferred elsewhere. This also created an opportunity for Zhao Dacheng. He used to be a security guard at this hospital, so he was familiar with the layout. He used his position to turn off all the surveillance cameras. That day, because they were short-staffed, there was only one nurse in the nursery. While the nurse was bathing other babies, he swapped your and Haoming's bracelets. At this point, I understood everything. I asked again, so when did you find out about this? Lai Xiufen said. Haoming went to high school in Jingcheng. He attended a private school, but at that time, he got into a fight with some people, and they kicked him so hard his spleen ruptured. He was taken to the hospital for emergency surgery because he needed a blood transfusion at that time. After I saw the lab report, I found out he had type B blood, but both Zhao Decheng and I have type O blood. How could we have a child with type B blood? After hearing this, my pupils suddenly dilated. A look of disbelief flashed in my eyes. You and Zhao Dacheng both have type O blood. Lai Shufen nodded. That's right. Zhao Dacheng and I actually knew each other since childhood. We were neighbors back in our hometown. When we got married, we had a premarital health checkup. The report showed that we both have type O blood. A storm raged in my heart. I have the rare blood type, AB negative. Genetically speaking, two people with type O blood absolutely cannot have a child with my blood type. I tried to calm myself. I continued. In other words, ever since Gu Haoming was in high school, you already knew he wasn't your son. At that time, I just thought he was switched at birth at the hospital. I didn't expect Zhao Dacheng to bluntly tell me that. He intentionally swapped the young master of the Go family. His goal was to wait for the two of you to grow up and then switch you back, so he could profit from both of you. He just wanted to treat you two children as cash machines. So after you knew the truth, you didn't tell Gu Haoming, did you? Lai Shufen sighed deeply. I was very conflicted at that time. I didn't tell Haoming right away either. I felt that more than 10 years had passed, and you both had your own life paths. Switching back might not necessarily be a good thing. Besides, with Haoming's personality, if he really found out he was a rich young master, he would definitely leave without looking back. I was also a little selfish. Lai Shufen's eyes quickly dimmed. But I have received my retribution. I knew the retribution Li Shufen was talking about was the matter being exposed. Gu Haoming truly was, as she had expected. He went to the Gu family without a second glance, and even cut ties with her. Even though he clearly knew she had acted in self-defense, he refused to testify in court. This led to her being sentenced to life in prison. Gu Haoming's heartlessness was her retribution. Although my heart was also in turmoil at this moment, I didn't show it at all. After a moment of silence, I said, "Can you keep a room for me here?" Li Shufen was stunned upon hearing this. Immediately after, a look of extreme joy appeared on her face. Yes. 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 I'll go clean a room for you right now. The house has 3 small bedrooms. Besides the master bedroom and Gu Haoming's room, there is also a guest room. Lai Shufen finished cleaning very quickly. Mr. Gu, this room will be yours from now on. Whenever you want to eat my cooking, just come over anytime. I nodded. Thank you. As soon as I left Jingshu Garden, I received a call from Gu Yuandong. Xian, come home for dinner tonight. Your mother misses you very much. Tonight, I've asked Aunt Yu to prepare all your favorite dishes. I haven't seen you in a long time either. This was the first time since I cut ties with the Gu family that Gu Yuandong had called me. His tone was extremely gentle, even a bit fawning. My voice, however, was unusually calm. Mr. Ju, I have no relationship with you people anymore. Please don't call me again. Xian, why are you holding such a grudge? It's been so long. I know I wronged you on your birthday, but it's not to the point where you have to really cut ties over such a small matter, is it? You're the child we raised, cherishing you in the palm of our hands. Think about it yourself. How have we treated you since you were a child? Can't your parents make one small mistake? Besides, we didn't end up adopting Song Xin Yu, and we even made Haoming apologize to you. What else are you not satisfied with? Stop being so stubborn. Come home tonight. I have something to tell you. I hung up the phone directly. I had already guessed what Go Yuandong would say. The deadline for the Paris design competition is approaching. Previously, every year at this time, I would participate as a designer from Qingben Jiaren. Even during the 3 years I was away from the Go family, Gu Yuandong would look for me every year at this time. After all, Qingben Jiaren hasn't had any stand-up products for many years. Every year, they can only rely on me winning international awards to gain attention and then boost their reputation. I remember that, as long as I won an award, Qingben Jiaren's stock would soar for a period of time. The next day, When Shen Yi called me, he invited me to have dinner in a private room at the Zhonyu Hotel. The reason was his and Feng Yuping's wedding anniversary. I didn't refuse. I even prepared a gift for the two of them. But when I arrived at the private room at Zhonyu, I saw not only Wen Changyi and Feng Yuping, but also Gu Yuandong's entire family. Of course, Wen Yueting was there too. I hadn't seen Wen Yuting in over half a month. She looked much thinner. She sat quietly in her seat. When I walked in, she also looked up at me for a moment, but didn't say hello. She quickly averted her gaze. A deep exhaustion seemed to show between her brows. Seeing Wen Yueting wasn't strange. After all, today was her parents' wedding anniversary. But that Gu Yuandong, Feng Yuping, and even Gu Haoming were all present. I understood clearly in my heart. Wen Chengyi saw me and quickly stood up. Xian, it's a rare opportunity today. I've called your parents to get together. Hurry over here. Feng Yuping glared at Wen Chengyi once, but she didn't say anything. The Wen family and the Gu family were old friends. After all, Wen Changyi and Gu Yuandong were childhood friends who grew up together. Gu Yuandong personally came to his house to beg Wen Changyi to mend the father-son relationship between him and me. Naturally, Wen Changyi had no reason to refuse. Actually, all of this was within my expectations. I walked in nonchalantly. Dad, Mom, happy anniversary. After speaking, I handed the gift I had prepared to Feng Yuping. Feng Yuping opened it to look and was endlessly surprised. Isn't this a custom-made bracelet from Queen? A global limited edition. Because the quantity is limited, even for VIP clients, the probability of getting one is only 1 in 10. To put it bluntly, the price of this design is just for show. Its purpose is to display the financial power and status of VIP clients. Anyone who can wear this bracelet represents one of Queen's top 100 biggest spenders annually. The threshold is at least 100 million. Wearing this out is a symbol of status and financial power. Feng Yuping loved it so much she couldn't put it down, but she also found it very strange. Only super VIPs are qualified to compete for this model. I don't usually see you buying Queen's jewelry. Gu Haoming, who was beside her, sneered. Gu Xian, you didn't just use some fake item to make Aunt Feng happy, did you? If she wears this out, Aunt Feng will be laughed at. Feng Yuping was immediately displeased. What are you talking about? I've been shopping for so many years. Do you think I can't tell the difference between real and fake? Queen's jewelry has an exclusive cutting technique. Only this brand has it. Others can't imitate it. You can tell it's real just by looking at it. Gu Haoming's expression turned ugly. Although Gu Xian isn't short on money, he absolutely cannot be a super VIP client of Queen. Where did he get this bracelet? He can't even buy it. How could I possibly buy such a high-end item? Feng Yuping said, very defensively. Not to mention I can tell it's real with one glance. Even if it were fake, as long as it's a gift from Xian, it's real. I like it all. Feng Yuping knew at a glance that it was real, but she also knew that I couldn't possibly be a super VIP of Queen. She wasn't sure where I had managed to buy this bracelet from. Perhaps it wasn't through official channels. To avoid giving Gu Haoming something to hold against me, she spoke that way, but I smiled. I am friends with Queen's designer, Mrai. I got this bracelet through a back door from him. Gu Haoming didn't believe it at all. He sneered. Everyone knows Queen's headquarters is in Jingcheng. Someone like you who has lived in Rongcheng since childhood. How could you possibly be friends with Mrai? MRY is a design genius of a generation, world-renowned. Is someone like that a person you can just latch onto whenever you want? Haoming, say a few words less. Gu Yuandong shouted, but it's the truth. If this bracelet is real, it must have been a gift from Miss Sia. He's just regifting it. Miss Sia is from Jingcheng, so it's possible she knows Mrai. But what virtue does Go Xian have if he knows someone at Queen, even just some other lowly designer? I'll kneel and call him Grandpa. I said nothing. I leisurely took out my phone and dialed a number. I put it on speaker so everyone could hear clearly. Senior sister, I want to custom order a set of jewelry for my godmother, using her name. Have MRI design it. The entire table was extremely surprised. Who was I calling? How could I just specify MRI to design the jewelry? The other end of the line seemed to be silent for 2 seconds. Then a person's voice came through. A deep and pleasant voice, but it exuded a natural sense of pressure. His steady and pleasant voice said, "All right, you're so close with Mai, you can just tell him this small matter yourself. Of course, I'll tell him, but I need you to make an announcement. Queen's custom order clients will naturally appear on the global announcement board. You can rest assured on this point," he added. "Send me your godmother's initials. I'll take care of it for you right away." I hung up. Then I composed and sent a text message. Everyone watched me do this, all of them stunned. Only Gu Haoming, beside me, had a contemptuous look on his face. Anyone can find someone to put on a show. Gu Xian, you don't really think well believe you, do you? Was that a call to a Queen executive just now? And even specifying MRY for a custom jewelry design? You probably don't know that Mrai only designs 5 sets of jewelry each year. 3 sets have already been released this year. Previously, Princess Kate of England and Princess Beatrice each ordered a set that was announced on Queen's official website long ago. What virtue do you have from Mrai to make an exception and design another set for you? Besides, can you even afford jewelry designed by Mrai? Gu Haoming just found it incredibly ridiculous. This act of mine was too over the top. Therefore, my phone call just now was really too fake, too laughable. My voice was faint. You can log into Queen's global website. Gu Haoming took out his phone. As he logged into Queen's website, he said with a scornful expression, Gu Xian, I'd like to see what kind of trick you have up your sleeve. The others also took out their phones to log into the website. When everyone had it open, Feng Yu Ping shouted and stood up. Why is my name on the announcement board? Gu Haoming was also completely dumbfounded. The website's homepage had a custom client announcement board. On it, the list of Queen's custom order clients was published, along with their products and designers over the years, and right now, the top line clearly listed Feng Yu Ping's name, FYP. It also clearly stated that the model of this jewelry would be personally handled by designer Mai. This announcement was posted 1 minute ago, clearly after I finished my phone call, and below this announcement were the order announcements for Princess Kate and Princess Beatrice of England. The 3 announcements formed an independent section, looking incredibly prominent on Queen's official website. Feng Yu Ping was too excited to speak. Holding her phone, she tremblingly brought it before me. Xian, is this really me on here? I smiled gently. Of course, it's you, Mom. Tears were about to well up in Feng Yu Ping's eyes. Although she was considered a wealthy lady, it was only in a small place like Rongcheng. In other bigger cities, she had no status at all. Usually, she could only look at these high-end custom items with envy. Even with money, she couldn't order them. Not to mention, the Wen family wasn't wealthy enough to casually spend tens or hundreds of millions on jewelry. She couldn't afford it either. But now, on the official website of the world's top luxury jewelry brand, her own name appeared. This magical feeling was beyond words. Whether it was the pride in her heart or her vanity, it was satisfied to the extreme. Of course, there was also a great sense of being moved and joyful. Below that post, there were comments from countries all over the world. In just a few minutes, there were over 10,000 comments. Everyone was discussing just what kind of esteemed figure this Mrs. Feng Yu Ping was. And at this moment, Feng Yu Ping's phone also rang. It was Mrs. Lai calling. Feng Yu Ping immediately answered the phone. Mrs. Li's serious voice came from the other end of the line. Oh my god. Queen's official website just announced MRI's private client list. Is this you? Or is it someone with the same name? Feng Yu Ping's face was full of pride. How could there be so many people with the same name? That is me. Oh my. It's just a filial junior in the family. It was Anne. Anne and MRI are good friends. That kid is very filial. He said it was an anniversary gift for me. I told him it wasn't necessary, but he insisted on giving such a precious gift, and even bothered Mai to break his 1-year rule of only accepting 5 design commissions. My child is both promising and filial. Good. Tomorrow I'll host a dinner party and invite everyone. You should call all the other ladies to come. While Feng Yu Ping was engrossed in her phone call, the others at the dinner table had different expressions. Wen Yu Ting looked at me with a complicated gaze, as if looking at a mist. Qin Haoilan's expression wasn't very good. She heard me calling Feng Yu Ping mom repeatedly, and felt very uncomfortable. Moreover, such a precious custom bracelet and jewelry set, I gave it to Feng Yu Ping without any hesitation. It would be a lie to say she wasn't jealous. I was the one she had painstakingly raised, but now I had become a great tree, providing shelter from the wind and rain for someone else to enjoy the shade. Furthermore, she was also very surprised in her heart why I had become so capable now, having connections with designers and even high-level people at Queen. Of course, the person with the ugliest expression was Gu Haoming. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Gu Xian, what tricks are you playing to fool everyone? I gave him a cold glance. I can fool people, but can I also control Queen's global website? If I can control it, wouldn't you have to admit that I am even more impressive? Gu Haoming's face turned red, then white, and finally became deathly pale. I looked at his colorful expression and said nonchalantly, come on, kowtow and call me grandpa. Gu Haoming's expression became extremely ugly. Gu Xian, don't go too far. When was I too much for you? You were the one who said it. Gu Haoming's already pale face had completely darkened. He never expected that I really knew a designer from Queen. Not just a designer, the person I just called is probably an even more powerful figure. But how could Gu Haoming really kowtow in front of so many people? I was just joking. Did you actually take it seriously? Gu Haoming sneered. I didn't say anything either, just gave a faint smile without speaking. On the other side, Gu Yuan-dong stood up and personally poured me a glass of juice. Anne, you know, people from Queen, why didn't you tell your father? I didn't say anything, nor did I touch the glass of juice. Gu Yuan-dong was a bit awkward. He returned to his seat and muttered to himself, that's right, you were originally in the design world. You're also very famous in this circle, having won so many awards. It's not strange to know a few powerful figures. I naturally knew what Gu Yuan-dong wanted to say. I said coldly, Mr. Gu, I have already withdrawn from the design world. That one phrase, Mr. Gu, drew a clear boundary line. Gu Yuan-dong's expression was not good, but he didn't get angry. He still maintained a smiling face and said gently, Xian, I know you're still angry with me. I was wrong. I officially apologize to you. Can you forgive me this time? My voice was calm, showing no emotion. Forgive you? And then represent Qingben Jia Ren. on behalf of the company to participate in the competition in Paris. Gu Yuandong's intentions were mercilessly exposed by me, and the smile on his face stiffened. Although he was a little angry, he still tried to restrain himself. Weren't the previous years all like this? I said nothing. Gu Yuandong continued to coax. You are my son. In the future, the Gu family's business will also have a share for you, so if you help the Gu family now, you're also helping yourself. This design competition is too important for the company. The corner of my mouth lifted. Gu Yuandong didn't say that before. On the surface, he said, I was still the young master of the Gu family, but behind my back, he told Qin Hui Lan that in the future, all company shares would go to Gu Haoming, and that I was just another mouth to feed in the Gu household. At that time, I had no intention of fighting for the inheritance, thinking that for him to do even that much was already not bad. But thinking back now, the fact that he didn't directly kick me out of the house was only because he valued my usefulness. I once had great illusions about familial affection, so for everything they did, I would initially find some reluctant reason for them and then deceive myself. Since you said the Gu family's assets also have a share for me, then how many shares do you plan to give me? My voice was as light as a floating cloud, and a smile also appeared on my face. I said it very casually, but it made people unable to take it lightly. Gu Haoming immediately cursed. Gu Xian, do you have no shame? We didn't force you to change your surname, and you really think you're part of the Gu family? Let me tell you, I am the only son of the Gu family. The Gu family's business and assets are all mine. Don't even think about getting a single cent. Gu Haoming's attitude was very harsh, but Gu Yuandong told him to shut up. Previously, when Gu Yuandong found out that I wasn't his biological son, he of course wanted to hand over the Gu family company to Gu Haoming. But 3 years have passed. What kind of aptitude Gu Haoming had, what his character was like, he had already seen through it all. If the Gu company were handed over to him, it would definitely go bankrupt in less than 3 years. Therefore, he had long had other plans in mind. After all, I was raised by him, even if I wasn't his biological son. I valued relationships and loyalty and was exceptionally talented. Besides, the Gu company desperately needed me now. Gu Yuandong said, how about this? They'll give you 5% of the company's shares. If you agree to represent the company in the Paris competition, I will immediately transfer the shares to your name. Gu Yuandong put on the air of a benevolent father. Xian, although you're not our biological son, you were raised by us, and we have deep feelings for you. In our hearts, there is no difference between you and Haoming. So in the future, we will definitely treat you fairly. Can we let bygones be bygones? Before I could speak, Fang Yuping, who had just finished her call, gracefully walked back. She pulled out her chair and spoke as if unintentionally. 5% of the shares. I remember when Gu Haoming returned. You and your wife already transferred 20% of the shares to him. Why does she and only get 5%? The difference between 5% and 20% is not small. Since it's like that, how can you talk about treating them fairly? Feng Yuping's sarcastic tone made the atmosphere extremely awkward. When Shen Yi pulled Feng Yuping's hand, you should talk less. Today, he was asked by Gu Yuandong to help mend the father-son relationship, but Feng Yuping's words turned into a provocation. Gu Yuandong's expression was also extremely ugly. I spoke coolly. I don't need the shares, and I won't go to Paris for the competition. Hearing this, Gu Yuandong became anxious and said through gritted teeth, you and Haoming will be the same. Each will hold 20% of the company's shares. How about that? If you represent the company and win an award, the position of design department director will also be yours. I agreed decisively. Deal. Gu Haoming directly flew into a rage. Dad, he's just a bastard from the outside. Are you really going to give half of the Gu family's assets to him? Look at how he was acting just now. Wasn't he threatening you? Do you really think that without him, the Gu family will go bankrupt? Shut up. Gu Yuandong was furious. Gu Haoming was truly stupid. Even though, over these few years, the Gu family had tried very hard to cultivate him, he still amounted to nothing. He couldn't manage. And although he had some talent in design, compared to me, it was like heaven and earth. The market is declining. E-commerce is attacking. Their physical industry is getting harder and harder. Gu Yuandong already felt powerless. If it weren't for me, the Gu family might really go bankrupt someday. Gu Haoming was scolded and felt extremely unwilling to accept it. I suddenly said, but, Dad, I've already registered for the competition under the company's name. Gu Yuandong felt his vision go dark and almost fainted. What did you say? Gu Haoming, fearless out of ignorance, blurted out the truth. I already registered yesterday, and the organizing committee has approved the application. So this year, I, Gu Haoming, will represent Qing Benjiaren at the Paris Fashion Design Competition. Gu Haoming looked at me with a hint of smugness. Gu Xian, don't think you're the only one who can win awards. I can too, this time. I will definitely let the whole world see my design talent. Hearing these words, Gu Yuandong was so angry he almost coughed up blood. Gu Haoming, are you trying to anger me to death? The Paris Fashion Design Competition is not something anyone can register for. Usually, famous brands send their own designers to compete, and each brand only has one spot. Qing Benjiaren also only has one spot. I spoke coolly again, a designer who has won the German Design Gold Award. Can register under a personal studio. If the company needs me, I can register through the studio channel. Of course, if I win. This design can belong to Qing Ben Jiaren. Gu Yuan Dong came back to life. Good. 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 You go compete. Then, during the acceptance speech, you must say that the design is from Qing Ben Jiaren. If I really go to the competition, Gu Yuan Dong will have nothing to worry about. After all, I've gone many times, won international awards, and even won the highest prize, the Gold Award. My status is already clear. As long as I appear, investors and other luxury brands will all associate me with Qing Ben Jiaren. Gu Hao Ming went crazy. Dad, don't let him fool you. He isn't that kind. He's only doing it for 20% of the company's shares. You absolutely cannot agree to it. I followed up with a smile. That's right. I have one condition for competing, and that is 20% of the company's shares. Yu Yuan Dong's mood was like a roller coaster, but by now he had already recognized reality. I had to go to Paris, and he also hoped for me to return to the Gu family. Gu Yuan Dong said, "Come to the company tomorrow to sign the share agreement." Gu Haoming was so angry he threw his bowl. No, the Gu family's shares can absolutely not be given to him. If the Gu family has me, it doesn't have him. Dad, you said everything in the Gu family belongs to me. Zhu Xian is nothing but a dog raised by the Gu family. I am your and Mom's biological son. Gu Yuan Dong was so angry his chest hurt. Gu Haoming, can't you be a little more sensible? If you were as outstanding as your brother, I would naturally feel at ease handing the company to you. But look at yourself. In what way are you better than Xian? What kind of future can you bring to the Gu family? Besides causing trouble for me, what else can you do? Gu Haoming trembled with anger. He reflexively looked towards Qin Huilan. Mom, do you think so too? You said I had talent too. It's just that I didn't have as good of an environment as Gu Xian. You said I was also trainable, and that you could entrust the Gu family to me in the future. Mom, say something. Qin Huilan had gradually accumulated a lot of disappointment towards this son. Moreover, she discovered that this son was also a liar. The piled-up guilt from before had all collapsed since the day she left the courthouse. Qin Huilan didn't look at him at all, her face cold. Your father makes the decisions in this family. I have no opinion. After hearing this, Gu Haoming felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over him. Now, even Qin Huilan was wavering. They have all been fooled by me. Gu Haoming was unwilling to accept it. He was almost stupefied by his anger. Gu Shi, and I want to make a bet with you. If I win an award this time, you must return the shares and never again covet a single cent from our Gu family. I was calm and composed. So, what if you lose? Gu Haoming gritted his teeth. Then I will transfer all the shares in my possession to you. I smiled brightly at him. Okay, it's settled then. Feng Yuping also smiled happily. Good, good, good. Then today, our Wen family will act as witnesses. Old Gu, if you regret it later, we will back Xian up. Gu Yuan Dong could only sigh. Gu Haoming was truly brainless. His chances of beating me were too slim. But on second thought, the company being in my hands wasn't necessarily a bad thing. He knew my capabilities. If I really took over the company might grow several times stronger in my hands. As for Gu Haoming, he could ask for some shares for him then, just let him peacefully enjoy the company's dividends. It would be better than his life's work being destroyed by his hands. Gu Yuan Dong said, then it's settled. Whoever wins an award in the competition will win the others 20% of shares. Whoever wins an award in the competition will win the others 20% of shares. Leaving Jun Yu, I went to the parking lot to get my car. I happened to see Wen Yu Ting standing next to her car. Wen Yu Ting quickly saw me. I walked over, directly ignored her, and unlocked my car, intending to get in. Xian, can I talk to you for a moment? I had already opened the driver's door. One of my hands rested on the car door, in a lazy posture. Sure, what do you want to say? I am all ears. I know that I and Song Xin Yu did many things to hurt you, but you know I was deceived by Song Xin Yu. I appeared indifferent. Let's not bring up the past anymore. You don't blame me anymore? Can you forgive me? I said. This matter is over. We don't owe each other anything. I won't blame you, nor will I talk about forgiveness. Wen Yue Ting saw that I seemed to have completely let go, and felt very upset. If I had completely let go, it meant there was no longer any possibility between them. So if we don't owe each other anything anymore, can we start over as friends? Wen Yue Ting hurriedly explained. I don't have any other intentions. I just want to be ordinary friends with you. Maybe we can meet for a meal sometimes, that's all. I spoke. I pushed you so hard. Can you still be friends with me? A guilty look flashed in Wen Yu Ting's eyes. Wen Yue Ting lowered her eyes. Xian, what was between me and Song Xin Yu was just a fatal attraction. It's over now. She looked up at me again. But we grew up together since we were children. 20 years of affection can't be let go of just like that. I frowned slightly. Wen Yue Ting observed my expression and spoke cautiously. I am not asking for anything else now, nor do I hope we can get back together. I just want to be friends with you. Even if it's just as ordinary friends, I would be content. There wasn't much emotional fluctuation in my eyes. Let it be. It's precisely because we've known each other for over 20 years that I still want to keep some good memories between us in my heart. I don't want to exhaust even our childhood memories. Wen Yuting was very confused. I looked up and looked deep into Wen Yuting's eyes with an added seriousness in my gaze. My eyes are extremely beautiful, originally like the brightest star in the deep night sky, but now a sparkling galaxy flowed within them. Being stared at by such eyes, Wen Yuting felt her heart stop beating and her breath caught. Why did she ever feel before that song XU could compare to me? My gaze was serious and seemed to be mixed with a bit of sincerity. Wen Yuting, how many years have we known each other? I know very well what you're thinking. Before, I was the one clinging to you, but I've grown tired of the feeling of pulling and pushing, of comparing and even scheming. I won't turn back. It's forever impossible between us. One sentence pushed Wen Yuting into an ice cellar. I pulled the car door and got in directly, but I didn't drive off immediately. The car window slowly rolled down. I didn't look towards Wen Yuting and spoke calmly. Perhaps when you let go of your obsession, we can still be friends, because I've already let go. Wen Yuting, take care of yourself. After speaking, I drove away. Wen Yuting watched my departing figure. Her eyes were gloomy. If I knew what she was doing, I would surely forgive her even less, but she had no choice. In this lifetime, she could not let go of her obsession. I drove on the city's expressway, but I didn't notice a car behind me, following me at a constant distance. Gao Qin was a racing team captain in her youth, so her tailing skills were naturally superb. Whenever I became slightly suspicious, she would perfectly blend into the traffic. Gao Qin had been following for half an hour before she spoke to the woman in the back seat. Mr. Gus, reconnaissance skills are quite strong. He almost spotted me several times. President, should we keep following? Keep following. Xia Qingsu's voice was faint, seemingly a little tired. Gao Qin also let out a soft sigh. The president has it too hard. After breaking up with Mr. Gu, to put up a front, she doesn't dare to go look for him. But she misses me so much that she can only wait for me to drive out aimlessly, to follow me, occasionally drive past my car, and steal a hurried glance. Gao Qing comforted Xia Qingxue. Mr. Gu is so intelligent. I believe that one day, he will definitely be able to guess that your hands are tied. Xia Qingxue leaned against the calfskin seat, her whole body seemingly enveloped by the night. Her gaze was heavy, and her voice was very deep and cold. I have no face to see him now. I'd rather he not find out. Gao Qin's expression also changed. President, are you afraid that Mr. Gus' fate will be the same as Ling Lung's? Xia Qingxu's eyes grew even darker. So, at this critical time, you returned to Jingcheng, grandly organized a birthday party for young Master Shen Yi, merely to create a smokescreen to divert Chairman Isaiah's attention. Although Chairman Xia is formidable, she wouldn't dare to touch young Master Shen so easily. It's just that Mr. Gu has really misunderstood. Seeing Xia Qingxu's pain expression, Gao Qing continued, but why didn't you explain to Mr. Gu? I believe Mr. Gu would understand. Maybe you just. I need to discuss with Mr. Gu to put on a show. It wouldn't have to hurt your feelings. Xia Qingxue closed her eyes. Gao Qin, what kind of person my eldest sister is, don't you know? She's a cunning old fox. Whether it's an act or not, she can tell with just one glance. Besides, she's vicious. I don't dare take that risk. Breaking up now is the safest thing for him. Gao Qin could only sigh along. Xia Qingxue seemed to have thought of something. What has Li Li been doing recently? Gao Qin answered honestly. I don't know. The most impressive skill Miss Lai has mastered these past few years is avoiding everyone's eyes and ears. Her school recently organized an independent study abroad program. Who knows, she might be in Italy right now. Spread the news that Li Li was in a car accident in Italy. Gao Qin immediately understood. President, I am sure that within 3 days, Chairman Shai will definitely appear in Italy. By then, between you and Mr. Gu, the relationship might have some breathing room. As I drove, I would occasionally glance at the rearview mirror. I don't know why, but for the past few days, I've had the feeling someone was watching me. But I couldn't find anything unusual. Could it be that I've been sleeping too little lately and started hallucinating? I originally intended to go back to Lu Yin Villa, but in the end, the car stopped in the Jin Shujia Yuan residential area. Li Xiufen was also very surprised to see me. Can I stay here tonight? Li Xiufen was overjoyed. Of course, Li Xiufen had previously cleaned up a room for me. After entering the house, I discovered that the house was even fresher than that day. Everything in the house seemed to have been washed again. Even the curtains were clean. The small plants on the balcony that had withered had all been replaced. The weeds in the small yard had all been cleared, looking very clean. Only the small wind chime on the balcony still tinkled as the wind blew, making one feel relaxed. I stood in the yard for a long time before going inside. Li Xiufen brought a bowl of red date and white fungus soup. I just made this tonight. I plan to go to the school gate tomorrow morning to set up a breakfast stall. You came just in time to give it a try for me first. I actually didn't eat much at Junyu, so I sat down and started eating the red date and white fungus soup. I took a bite and was extremely surprised. It's really delicious. Li Xiufen's face was filled with a gentle smile. If you like it, eat some more. There's still a lot in the pot. There's also mung bean soup and 8 treasure kanji. Then save me a bowl of 8 treasure kanji for tomorrow morning. I like to eat that. Okay. That night, I slept at Jin Sujia Yuan. This room was very small, and the bedding was also very simple. To be honest, I am usually quite picky. I have trouble sleeping in new beds, and my bedding is of the highest quality. A 2 million yuan mattress, a silk quilt worth over 100,000, and a latex pillow worth tens of thousands couldn't save my restless sleep. But today, the bedsheet and pillowcase were new, made of cotton, had been washed, and smelled of sunshine. I don't know why, but after I lay down, a wave of sleepiness washed over me, and I actually slept for 7 hours straight. I haven't slept this well in 3 years. After waking up, I felt mentally refreshed. I walked out of the room and found that Lai Xiufen had already gone out. Breakfast was left for me on the dining table. Lai Xiufen had left me a portion of each item she sold at her stall. A warmth suddenly rose in my heart. After I finished eating, I planned to leave. Before leaving, I opened the door to Li Xiufen's room, took a look around, my gaze stopping in the corner of the room. On a small dressing table, I walked over. The dressing table was very simple, with only a wooden comb and a box of skin cream. I picked up the wooden comb, and there were 2 or 3 strands of hair on it. I took out a transparent Ziploc bag, collected the few strands of hair, and put them inside. After leaving Jin Xiujia Yuan, I immediately went to Xiao Qing Chuan's private hospital and placed the 2 Ziploc bags on Xiao Qing Chuan's desk. Help me do a paternity test. Although Xiao Qing Chuan's private hospital is NT very big, it basically serves the wealthy upper class, and his hospital also has genetic testing technology. Xiao Qing Chuan looked at the 2 Ziploc bags. What's up? Did you find Messias' illegitimate child? I burst out laughing. She and I broke up a long time ago. Xiao Qing Chuan was a little surprised. After the last counseling session, he thought I would open up to Xia Qing Shui, but he didn't expect a clean break. Don't ask too much about other things. Just help me test whether the 2 people inside are related by blood. Although Xiao Qing Chuan knows many of my affairs, such as the matter of me and Gu Haoming being switched at birth, but now I am afraid the matter is much more complicated than imagined. I can't even make any guesses, so for now, I don't want to tell anyone. Seeing that I didn't want to say much, Xiao Qing Chuan didn't ask much either. He just said, I don't have many staff here. It will take 2 days at the earliest. Come get the report in 2 days. I said, I am going to Paris for a week tomorrow. I'll come find you for the report in a week. In the afternoon, I reported to Tang Ling and requested the 10 days of annual leave I mentioned before. Tang Ling had personally agreed, so of course he couldn't go back on his word. In the evening, I went to Lu Yin Villa to pack my things. Just as the car pulled up outside, I noticed the lights were on in Lu Yin Villa. I entered, just in time to see Gao Qin coming downstairs. When Gao Qin saw me, she hurriedly greeted me respectfully. Mr. Jewess. I also nodded politely. Secretary Gao, are you here to help President Xie get her luggage? A hint of awkwardness flashed across Gao Qin's face. No. The president got drunk tonight and insisted on coming here. My fine eyebrows furrowed. Seeing that I was unhappy, Gao Qin hurriedly played the sympathy card. The president hasn't been in a good mood lately. She's lost her appetite and skipped meals, and just works like crazy. She has high-intensity meetings every day, and her stomach problems have flared up again. She just got an IV drip at the hospital this afternoon, but in the evening, she couldn't refuse the social gathering with CF, and now she's drunk again. When she wakes up tomorrow morning, her stomach will definitely hurt again. I wasn't fooled. With her status, what social gathering? Couldn't she refuse? Gao Qin was afraid that if she stayed any longer, she wouldn't be able to resist telling me the truth. So, she hurriedly excused herself. Mr. Gu, I'll be leaving now. I'll have to trouble you to take care of the president tonight. My voice was faint. I am leaving soon too. I only came back to pack my things. I won't be staying here for a while. As I walked upstairs, without looking at Gao Qin, I just said as I walked, since you're here, take all of your president's things with you. It's in the storage room. Also, pass this message to her. In a few days, I'll change the password and the locks here. Don't come here drunk next time, and not be able to open the door. Gao Qin looked at my retreating back, thinking that when a man becomes heartless, he is truly ruthless. Actually, there was one thing she didn't lie about. For the past few days, Xia Qingzhu seemed like a different person, forgetting to eat and sleep, working like a madwoman. Gao Qin naturally knew what was going on. She missed Mr. Gu too much and was afraid that if she had any free time, she wouldn't be able to resist going to find him. Today, after Xia Yuan Hua received the news they released, she was already on a flight to Italy. In the evening, after Xia Qing Sui got drunk, she kept calling my name, which is why she dared to take it upon herself to bring Xie Qing Shu here. Gao Qin sighed and could only resign herself to going into the storage room to pack the boxes. After packing the boxes, Gao Qin drove away. As for me, I went to the 3rd floor and started packing my luggage. Halfway through packing my luggage, I suddenly noticed a figure appear at the door. It was Xie Qing Sui. I stood up straight and looked at the door. Our eyes met, and the air seemed to freeze. To be honest, we hadn't seen each other since returning from Jingcheng, and it had been over half a month. I saw that Xia Qing Shu was still very calm. My voice was calm, without any ripples. Aren't you drunk? Xia Qing Shu stood straight at the door. Her face was cold, her eyes were clear, not like someone who was drunk. but there was a blush on her cheeks, accentuating her fair, cool skin, making her seem somewhat adorable. Xia Shui stepped in, looked at the suitcase on the floor, and asked in a cold voice, "Where are you moving to?" I never thought about moving. I was just packing my luggage to go to Paris tomorrow, but I didn't want to explain to Xia Qingzue, "This has nothing to do with you." I didn't pay any attention to Xia Qingzue, turned and went into the dressing room and continued packing my clothes. Just as I stepped out of the dressing room, I almost bumped into Xia Qingzue. Xia Qingzue looked at me with heavy eyes. It was only then that I realized this woman had been drinking and had drunk quite a lot. She reeked of alcohol. I couldn't help but lean in and sniff, then couldn't help but wrinkle my nose. "How much tequila did you drink?" Xia Qingzue saw me wrinkling my nose. My handsome appearance as I sniffed her was like a little puppy, and her heart couldn't help but flutter. Perhaps it was also because she was drunk. The next second, she directly grabbed my face and kissed me fiercely. The moment our lips touched, Xia Qingzue's body couldn't help but tremble. She craved my warmth too much. My scent, like an opiate that had seeped into her bones. Once addicted, there's no getting away. Compared to Xia Qingzue's immersion, I appeared completely unmoved. It's not that I don't miss her. I also desire her body. It's just that I've always been very clear-headed. "Xia Qingzue, do you know what you're doing?" I suppressed my emotions, making my voice come out calm and ripple-free. The woman in front of me seemed very dissatisfied. Those beautiful, clear eyes made one's heart tremble. I decisively picked her up. The next second, we both sank into the large bed. A storm of dense kisses came crashing down. The woman kissed me fiercely, her lips moving from mine to my ear. My earlobes are very sensitive. Previously, as long as she kissed my earlobe, I would be moved. The woman was trying her best to please me. This move used to be very effective on me. But now, lying on the bed, I neither resisted nor accepted. My gaze was cold as I looked at the woman before me. The woman saw that I was unmoved and tried to look me straight in the eye. Our noses were almost touching, our breaths mingling. I could smell the strong scent of alcohol on her, but it still couldn't cover the unique, elegant scent on her body, like a wild orchid in the forest, which was also what fascinated me the most. Smelling this scent, I almost lost my reason. But it was only for a moment of daze. I quickly came back to my senses. "Xia Qingzue, get up." My voice was very cold, very icy, full of warning. But Xia Qingzue didn't move at all. She just looked at me like that. Her eyes were very dark, very deep. Of course, Xia Qingzue didn't get up, but kissed me again. This time, it was even more frantic and passionate than before. Her small hand had already slipped inside my shirt, unceremoniously groping me at will, casually moving downwards. "Xia Qingzue, let go of me." My voice was strained to the extreme. My voice was frighteningly cold, and my whole body was rigid. But Xia Qingzue seemed not to hear my words, kissing more and more fervently, one hand even defiantly, pinched my waist hard. I pushed her away forcefully. Xia Qingzue's eyes were filled with resentment, looking so pitiful. I said indifferently, "Stop being a hooligan." Her eyes looked at me, filled with disbelief. What she couldn't understand was, she had tried so hard, even she was already lost in it. So how could I still be so composed? I sighed. Should I go call Gao Qin? When Gao Qin arrived, she saw her president sitting on the sofa with disheveled clothes, her eyes blank, and a sorrowful expression. Gao Qin rushed into the house. "President, what's wrong?" Xia Qingzue said nothing. The renowned little princess of Jingcheng, looking dazed, looked like she was about to cry. Gao Qin asked me directly, "What happened to my president?" "Nothing." I pushed her. I said nonchalantly. Gao Qin's expression changed unpredictably, from initial shock to, finally, a speechless and heartbroken look. "Mr. Gu, how could you push our president? What on earth did our president do for you to treat her like this?" Gao Qin was usually very cold, but right now she was so angry that she didn't care about maintaining her image. I said slowly, "She acted like a hooligan with me." "Fine then." Gao Qin turned her head, her voice as quiet as a mosquito. "President, how could you act like a hooligan? I brought you here to pour out your heart. How could you act like a hooligan with Mr. Gu?" Gao Qin also looked awkward. She helped Xia Qingzue up while saying to me, "Sorry, Mr. Gu. Our president is drunk. Is being drunk an excuse for her to go crazy and act like a hooligan? If this happens again, I'll call the police directly." I crossed my arms, my voice cold. Gao Qin once again sighed internally. Men are truly ruthless. But Gao Qin also knew that these two were not on the same wavelength right now. In the president's heart, I was still the lover she deeply loved. But from Mr. Gu's perspective, they had already broken up. Gao Qin said with a smile, "There won't be a next time. Mr. Gu, please be magnanimous and forgive her." I waved my hand. "All right, take her away." Gao Qin felt that her boss really had it too rough. Why did she have to like Mr. Gu, a man who was so heartless and so sober? No wonder the president wouldn't tell him the truth. Mr. Gu is so rational. If he knew the risks of being with the president, he would definitely leave without looking back. Gao Qin sighed. After Xia Qingzue left, I lay on the bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. To say I wasn't affected at all would be a lie. Now, whenever I can't sleep, I especially miss the days when this woman was by my side. Of course, my heart was moved, and I felt desire. It's just that I knew I couldn't sink any deeper. It would cost me my life. No matter what, Life is the most important thing. I only slept for a mere 2 hours. The next morning, I went to the airport. When I arrived in Paris, it was dusk in Paris. After leaving the airport, I took my luggage and planned to go to the hotel I had booked. The room I was staying in was a high-end suite from which I could see the Eiffel Tower and the Seine River. Furthermore, it had the most famous rooftop bar in Paris with a 120-meter-long terrace that offered a panoramic view of Paris. I thought that if I couldn't sleep at night, it would be a good place to go. I stayed in the room for a while and decided to go for a walk. After walking around and coming back, I was in a very good mood. As the sky darkened, I planned to go back to the hotel for dinner. As I walked to the street of the fashion center, I felt a strong pull on my arm. When I came to my senses, I realized the things in my hand had been snatched by two thugs. I reacted very quickly, at an extremely fast speed, as if flying over level ground, and caught up to those two. From behind them, I kicked. The blonde-haired one staggered and fell flat on the ground. The stolen item in his hand immediately flew out. The one with braided hair heard the noise and also stopped, turned to look at me, and the blonde one picked up the 2 bags the blonde had dropped on the ground and took off running. I also chased after him frantically again. The braided-haired one ran extremely fast. Seeing that he was running faster and faster, I threw the thing in my hand straight out. It just so happened to hit the braided hair guy's back. Caught by a surprise attack, the braided hair guy fell straight to the ground. I also quickened my pace and quickly ran to where the braided hair guy was. The braided hair guy had already scrambled up, staring fiercely at me. I calmly picked up my things. The braided hair guy angrily pulled from his denim jacket a fruit-peeling knife from his pocket. He charged aggressively towards me. My eyes had long been on the braided hair guy. This kind of small fry, I could take on 10 of them by myself without a problem. I waited for the right moment, just as the braided hair guy got close to me, and raised the knife. While squatting, I shot out a long kick. If nothing unexpected happened, my foot would have landed right on the braided hair guy's chest, a kick that could make him cough up blood. But the unexpected still happened. A white figure appeared out of nowhere, charging straight towards the braided hair guy, shouting, "Run." I immediately realized I had probably run into a good Samaritan who bravely does what's right, but a kick that's already been thrown can't be pulled back. Seeing that person had already crashed into the braided hair guy, I could only change its direction. Coincidentally, there was a stone stool next to me. My foot kicked it, and I sprained my ankle. I frowned. On the other side, the white figure had tackled the braided hair guy. The two of them were wrestling. It was then that I realized the white figure was a girl in a white t-shirt. She was clearly no match for the braided hair guy. Seeing her at a disadvantage, I walked straight over, used my hand like a knife, and chopped the back of the braided hair guy's neck. The braided hair guy's body went limp. He passed out immediately. The girl in white pushed the braided hair guy away and hurriedly got up. She looked at me with a mix of shock and admiration. "Sir, you're amazing." Soon, the French police arrived. I don't know French, but the girl in white used a very fluent French to communicate with the police. Afterwards, the police took the blonde guy and the braided hair guy away. The girl in white ran over to me. I was sitting on a bench in the square. My ankle was already swollen. I was massaging my ankle. The girl in white saw it too and rushed over to ask with concern, "Sir, are you okay?" I looked up, intentionally putting on a cold expression. "If it wasn't for you being a good Samaritan, I probably would have been fine." The girl's pretty face immediately flushed red. "I am sorry. I didn't know you were so skilled." Actually, the girl would only find out later that when I was squatting there tying my shoelaces, I was actually waiting for the right moment to strike. If she hadn't suddenly rushed over, I wouldn't have had time to pull back my strength and wouldn't have sprained my ankle. I looked at her blushing cheeks and her apologetic expression and suddenly burst out laughing. "I am just kidding. You stood up in the face of danger. Your reaction was quick, full of courage. That's very impressive. I am very grateful for your help." A smile immediately spread across the girl in white's face. She was a little shy from the praise. I wasn't thinking much at the time. I just thought I couldn't watch two people bully you alone. I chuckled. "What's your name?" "My name is Ali. My Chinese name is Li. What's your name?" "My name is Anne. My Chinese name is Ge. She Anne. You look younger than me." "Brother, where are you staying? Let me take you back. My ankle is swollen. It's not convenient to walk. I need someone to support me." So I didn't refuse. "The WLD Hotel. Sorry to trouble you." Lee's eyes lit up again. What a coincidence. I am also staying at the World. After she said that, I started to reevaluate this girl. Brut is the only 7-star hotel in Paris, not a place an ordinary person can afford. The most basic room here costs a 6-figure sum in euros per night, but this girl in front of me, her outfit was very ordinary. Just a very simple white t-shirt, a common sportswear brand found in supermarkets. Her pants and shoes were the same, although she was dressed simply. She looked very clean and comfortable. It's not that I judge a book by its cover. I was simply curious. Li seemed to see through my suspicion. She fidgeted with the hem of her white t-shirt. "I am not some rich, second-generation kid. I am a singer at the Sky Bar there." I smiled. "That's a relief. I don't want to befriend the rich second-generation kids." Li was slightly taken aback. Then she said, "Does that mean we're friends now?" "Of course." Li came forward to support me. "Brother, do you hate the rich second-generation kids that much?" I thought for a moment. Not really. But the person I hate right now is one of them. The face of Xia Qingshu appeared in my mind. She looks a bit like the girl in front of me. I felt a little contempt for myself inwardly. Could it be because I miss Xia Qingshu too much, that seeing an Asian face in a foreign land made me connect the two of them very quickly? I was back at the hotel. Li bought medicine for me. After applying it, I felt much less pain. The swelling should be gone by tomorrow, brother. I have a performance at midnight tonight. Do you want to come and watch? I waved my hand. I am old now. I have to be in bed by 10. Come next time if I have the chance. Li didn't insist. After exchanging contact information with me, she left. Actually, I wasn't asleep at midnight. I just felt too lazy to go out today. The design competition is the day after tomorrow. The venue is at the Grand Palais. Early the next morning, I received a message from Eli. Brother, is your leg better? I smiled. Her face appeared in my mind. Her skin is very fair, clean. Her eyes are as clear as stars in the dark night, as if they hold light. Her hair is blonde, fluffy, and soft. It makes you want to ruffle it. When she smiles, her eyes curve, and there's a small dimple on her left cheek, both cool and cute. Her voice is very pleasant. She's a pure and lovely girl. I texted back, it's fine now. The other side quickly replied, I am having breakfast at the restaurant. Want to join me? I didn't hesitate. Okay, perhaps this girl's smile is very healing. I quite like being with her. After breakfast, Eli took me to see the Eiffel Tower. We had coffee at a cafe by the Seine, visited a nearby gallery to see an exhibition, and also went to a small concert. Before I knew it, a day had passed. I was in a very good mood. Finally, we returned to the hotel restaurant for dinner. Eli was also very excited. Brother, where do you want to go tomorrow? I smiled. I don't have time tomorrow. I am here for the Paris design competition. Li smiled, revealing one dimple. So you're a designer. No wonder you have such an aura. What about you? I asked curiously while eating. I am just an exchange student. This year, I am a junior, but I am very poor. So I usually have to do a lot of part-time jobs to earn tuition and living expenses. For example, singing at the bar, tutoring Chinese. And sometimes I work as a part-time model and actress. I nodded and said, after the design competition, I am returning to my country. I am afraid we won't have a chance to meet again. When you return to the country, you can look for me. I'll treat you to a meal. Lily smiled so wide her eyes curved. Incredibly cute. Okay, I'll definitely look for you then. After dinner, Lee suddenly said, Brother, come watch my performance tonight. It starts at 9. I was a bit surprised. Didn't you say it was at midnight? Actually, tonight, I had originally planned to check out the rooftop bar. Lily scratched her head. The time has changed. From now on, it's always at 9. After dinner, I went with Lai to the Sky Bar. This was a huge outdoor rooftop in the hotel. The whole rooftop was dreamy. A bit like Alice in Wonderland. The rooftop was already packed with people. After Lily arrived, she went backstage. I casually took a glass of champagne from a waiter's tray and leaned against the glass railing next to the stage. The view here was extremely beautiful. You could see the stage, and if you turned around, you could see the entire Paris nightscape. A moment later, Lily came on stage with a guitar. At first, no one paid attention. Guests on the rooftop were either admiring the night view or chatting happily. Some were holding wine glasses, toasting each other. But when the sound of the guitar rang out, when Alice's voice tore through the night, the entire rooftop fell into a brief silence. Her voice was truly amazing, clear and melodious, as if it came from a very distant place, yet it was also like a small path in the forest. It seemed to instantly transport people into a fairy tale world. Lily sang a French country folk song. The melody was simple yet moving, paired with her clear and ethereal voice. It was like the first ray of sunlight over the mountains and fields, fresh and warm. I looked at the girl on stage. This again made me think of Xia Qingshu. She also had a side like this. When I first met Xia Qingshu, she was like the scorching sun in midsummer. Every time I was with her, it felt like being melted by her. But later I learned, this fiery aura of Xia Qingshu was just an act. Her true face to the outside world was cold and indifferent. That passion was only a very small spark within her, ignited only for a moment when in bed. But the person before me was different. She wasn't the scorching sun, but the dawn. That pure warmth seemed to be innate. I shook my head. It's clearly been 20 days since we broke up, but I still couldn't help but think of her. Perhaps it was because of her appearance 2 days ago. That threw my mind into some confusion. Eli finished one song. Astonished applause erupted from below the stage. The audience was still not satisfied, eagerly requesting another song. Ali didn't refuse. Her fingers strummed the guitar, and she sang another song. Her eyes were always on me, but I seemed distracted. When our eyes met, I would also smile at her, but I didn't listen to her whole second song. Halfway through her singing, I had already left. By the time she finished her performance, I was long gone. Lili felt a little disappointed in her heart, but when she picked up her phone, she saw a message from me. The performance was great. I am going to bed first. Good night. The initial bit of disappointment, after seeing this message, instantly evaporated without a trace. She hurriedly composed a message, but she typed and then deleted. Deleted and then wrote again, repeating this for 5 minutes. Finally, she only sent 4 words. Sleep well, brother. The next day, I got up and got ready simply. Then, went to the Grand Palais. Today, the design competition would officially begin. After registering for the Paris Fashion Design Competition, there is a rigorous screening by the organizing committee. Finally, from various countries and regions, 100 fashion designers are selected to participate in the competition. The competition rules are very simple. The competition's host will be on site to announce the theme of this design competition. After that, each participating contestant must, within 48 hours, design and create a finished product based on this theme. Then, on the third day, it will be publicly displayed and judged by 48 judges. After tallying the scores, 10 outstanding works will be selected. This competition has 10 awards. The most valuable and most watched is the Golden Pinnacle Award. There is only one Golden Pinnacle Award. It can coincide with a category award, but so far, the competition has never awarded a category prize and the Golden Pinnacle Award to the same person. I've participated for 7 years. I've won the Golden Pinnacle Award once. The other awards were all category prizes. My bet with Gu Haoming is about the trophy. Whoever wins a category award is considered the winner. At 9 o'clock, the 100 designers were invited into the hall. I saw Gu Haoming in the crowd. It was Gu Haoming's first time in a place like this. The high-end and strange environment felt like the future. Actually, he knew the threshold for this competition was very high. All the participating designers are geniuses from global luxury brands or studios. He only had the qualification to register because of Qing Ben Jia Ren. But in reality, among these luxury brands, Qing Ben Jia Ren is basically unknown. Upon entering the hall, Gu Haoming was constantly trying to network with the top people in the field, but his English was very poor. He could barely string a sentence together. Then he saw me, standing among a group of designers, composed and calm, smiling and chatting happily with everyone. I was speaking fluent English, like old friends reuniting with those designers. Gu Haoming's fingers quietly clenched. If their fates hadn't been switched at birth, the person who should be composed now, shining brightly, should be him. Very soon, all the designers had taken their seats. The host appeared. After the formalities were over, he began to announce this competition's theme. The theme of our design competition this time is time. After the theme was announced, the 100 designers were assigned to their respective workrooms. There are 100 workrooms here, randomly assigned to the participating designers by drawing lots. The workroom I drew was number 9, and Gu Haoming's was number 38. Our workrooms were very far apart. For the next 48 hours, the designers must, based on the theme of time, draw up a design sketch, and at the same time, create their finished product. Of course, before designing, each designer would first meet their model, because the final product will be presented by the model, so they must tailor it based on the physique of the model assigned to them. High-level designers would also incorporate the model's body shape and skin color into their design. My model was a black model. He was very tall, over 1.8 meters. His body proportions were also excellent. After taking his measurements, I started to focus on my design. Meanwhile, Gu Haoming, after hearing this theme, almost laughed out loud with joy. The theme of time was too simple for him. In other words, this theme was in that design notebook. Gu Haoming had a design notebook. It was after he returned to the Gu family. He accidentally found it in the Gu family's study, among a pile of old books. In this design notebook were many hand-drawn designs, exquisite and wonderful. Most importantly, the imagination was rich. Each design represented a theme, but because they were too whimsical, most of the designs were extravagant, only suitable for competitions, not suitable for the market. He had previously modified a few designs for the company. After Go Yuan, Dong and Qin Huilan saw them, they both praised his design talent. He also relied on continuously copying and modifying that design notebook to establish his footing in Qing Ben Jia Ren's design department. And now, with this theme, he basically didn't need to modify anything. He remembered there was a theme called Time in the Notebook. Gu Haoming was extremely excited, relying on his memory. He drew the design on a draft paper. Even the assistant beside him was astonished, watching the design flow smoothly, like drifting clouds and flowing water. He sincerely praised young Master Ju. You truly are a genius. Gu Haoming became smug from the praise. Of course, he wasn't afraid of others discovering he was copying, because he had searched thoroughly online. Every work designed in that notebook had never appeared online. Logically speaking, design works of this caliber, if even one set were leaked or entered into a competition, would cause a sensation in this circle. But in all these years, there had been nothing. Furthermore, he had previously modified a few designs for Qing Ben Jia Ren and had them made into clothes for the market. Although he had modified them, it was clear that many of the designs referenced that design notebook. If the owner of this design notebook were still alive, they would surely file a complaint against Qing Ben Jia Ren. But for so many years, everything had been quiet. Gu Haoming felt he was very lucky. With this design notebook in hand, he wasn't afraid of any high-end design competition. This was also the reason he was confident enough to register for the competition without telling anyone first. Heaven was on his side. Even the design theme was identical. Perhaps this time he could really take home the Golden Pinnacle Award. By then, he could definitely crush me under his foot. The 48 hours finally passed. The design works of the 100 designers were almost all completed. Next was another draw. According to the drawn order, the models would present their works. This time, Gu Haoming drew number 2. I drew number 22. Before the presentation, Everyone brought their works backstage. Each person's exclusive model was already waiting there. At this time, all the designers were gathered in one place. Everyone could finally see each other's works. As soon as Gu Haoming's work appeared backstage, it caused quite a stir. Everyone here is a designer. The level of design can be seen almost instantly. This person named Gu Haoming, a newcomer appearing in this design competition for the first time. The work he designed was truly exquisite and wonderful. The surrounding designers all gathered around. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. Many people also lavished praise on it. Gu Haoming was extremely smug. His moment to shine had finally arrived. He pushed everyone aside and deliberately walked towards me. Suddenly, he discovered that I was also surrounded by many people. Everyone seemed to be gasping in amazement as well. Gu Haoming originally thought that his work could definitely crush mine, but when he saw my work, he was also instantly stunned. My piece was a floor-length gown, and the part that made people's eyes light up was the entire surface of the dress was covered with a layer of fine sand. It covered the entire dress from top to bottom, but within the fine sand, at the same time, countless microcrystals were embedded. Visually, every angle sparkled brilliantly. No matter which angle you looked from, it looked like a piece of art. A sense of crisis grew in Gu Haoming's heart, but on the surface, he still feigned disdain. He called it flashy and pretentious. Then he returned to his own spot. Outside the live stream room, the venue had also invited many distinguished guests to watch the show. These distinguished guests were usually high-level VIPs from the world's top luxury brands. At this moment, a young, lovely face was sitting in the best front row seat of the show, flipping through the list of designers in her hand. When she finally saw my face, a smile lifted the corners of her mouth, revealing a small dimple. Soon, the show began. While the model walked the runway, the designer would be at the podium, explaining their design concept. Usually, the model's presentation time is 3 minutes. After the presentation is over, the designer and the model will leave the stage together. The judges, during the model's presentation, had already started scoring the work. The scoring was made public. Each judge would score based on individual evaluation criteria. The scores of all the judges were announced on the screen behind the stage. Then, the system would, according to the standards, calculate a composite score. For example, the composite score for designer number 1 was 80 points. This score was considered not bad. After designer number 1 finished, it was designer number 2. Gu Haoming's turn to appear. Gu Haoming's model came on stage wearing a dazzling fresh flower dress. The dress on the model was adorned with all kinds of flowers in various colors. The sizes and colors were exquisitely arranged to achieve a perfect visual balance. The huge skirt trailed on the ground, also covered with large and small flowers. Even the air carried a faint, fragrant scent. At the same time, Gu Haoming was also on stage giving his presentation. This piece is called Garden of Four Seasons. It symbolizes the changing of the 4 seasons over time. As Gu Haoming gave his presentation, he saw the look of astonishment in the eyes of the people below the stage, especially those judges, many of whom were whispering to each other, nodding in praise. After Gu Haoming finished his presentation, he took the model's hand and left the stage. And as he entered the backstage area, he turned back to look at the large screen. The judges had actually given him a high composite score of 95 points. This was an absolutely high score. The designer who won the Golden Spire Award last year only had a composite score of 93 points. Gu Haoming's heart was filled with both smugness and excitement. It seemed that this year's Golden Spire Award was basically in his pocket. At this moment, Gu Yuandong and Qin Huilan were also waiting outside the livestream room. When they saw Gu Haoming present, this Garden of Four Seasons piece, they were also extremely astonished. Gu Yuandong had always felt that the works that Gu Haoming designed, while good, always seemed to be lacking something. His usual works, the good parts were incredibly stunning, but other parts were very clumsy, like a phoenix with pheasant feathers attached. But today's work was truly perfect. Gu Yuandong was extremely excited. He grabbed Qin Huilan's hand. I can't believe our son is truly a genius, a real genius. Qin Huilan, however, frowned slightly. In her memory, this design felt a bit familiar. Gu Haoming looked at the praise, flooding the internet, but as soon as he turned to see my work, the ominous feeling in his heart spread wildly again. He had been in the design world for several years. He could tell with a single glance that my piece was no ordinary thing. It would definitely have a significant impact on his chances of winning the award. If I won the Golden Spire Award, even if he received another award, it would still count as a loss. Wouldn't he have to hand over 20% of the company's shares then? He absolutely would not let this happen. On the other side, I was still making final adjustments to a few details of the work. I was the 22nd to go on stage. There was still an hour until my turn. The clothes had already been put on the model, but because of its special material, some adjustments were needed according to the model's figure. I was still engrossed in my work, optimizing every detail. I was surrounded by many people. Everyone seemed to be watching an artist creating a work of art. Gu Haoming also blended into the crowd. After looking around, his gaze fell on the model's high heels on the shoe rack. All the model's shoes were placed on a shoe rack, a neat shoe cabinet. The model's numbers were posted on the shoe cabinet. There was no one in front of the shoe cabinet. Gu Haoming stealthily walked over to the shoe cabinet and directly took out my model's high heels. After fiddling with them for a bit, a few minutes later, he sneakily put them back in their original place. After Gu Haoming finished all this, a wicked smile appeared on his face. Gu Xian, let's see how you'll compete now. Half an hour later, I had finally optimized all the details. I stood in front of the model, examining my work, and was extremely satisfied. There were about 30 minutes left before going on stage. The assistant brought the high heels for the model to put on. The model put on the high heels, intending to take a few test steps, but after just 2 steps, she suddenly twisted her ankle, and her whole body fell to the ground. The gown on her body also fell, causing sand particles to scatter everywhere. The seams were all torn in several places. This sand gown of mine was originally made by first creating a fabric mold based on the model, then mixing 7 colors of sand and microcrystals and applying them layer by layer. It was stunning, yes, but its only drawback was the stiff material, which was very easy to damage. After this fall, whether it was the waistline or the back zipper, the stitches had all come undone. The people around also screamed, as if a rare treasure had been shattered. I was also stunned for a moment. Then, my assistant and I quickly helped the model up. The model also had a look of horror, apologizing incessantly. Sorry. I frowned and picked up the shoes from the floor, discovering that both heels of the high heels were broken. I took a closer look. The cross-section of the break on the heel seemed to have marks from being cut by a sharp object. I looked around, and finally saw Gu Haoming in the corner. Gu Haoming was holding his phone, looking at me with malicious eyes. Who did it? Was as clear as day to me. Assistant and Ni was also a Chinese girl, studying at the Royal College of Art. For the past 2 days, while following me and making this sand dress, she had grown to admire me greatly. Of course, for this dress, she had also stayed up for 48 hours straight, pouring her whole heart into it. Now, seeing the dress torn and damaged, tears immediately fell from her eyes. She was so frantic she didn't know what to do. But I didn't have time to be sad right now. I quickly checked it. Fortunately, only a few seams were torn. They could be fixed. But now there was a fatal problem, which was that the model's ankle was sprained. Her ankle immediately swelled up like a bun, making it almost impossible to move. In this condition, she absolutely couldn't go on stage. The model endured the pain, apologizing nonstop. I comforted her with a few words in English. And I said with a sob, "And gee, what do we do now? Even if the clothes are fixed, we don't have a model." The clothes were custom made for the model's figure. This model is very tall, 1.8 meters tall, so this outfit wouldn't fit a normal person at all. And right at this moment, a tall, slender, and youthful figure suddenly appeared before me. "Brother, when are you going on stage?" I just looked up, and the person I saw was Li Li. Li Li was just bored, waiting outside, so she came backstage to have a look, unexpectedly. After seeing her, it was like grabbing a life-saving straw. "Li Li, I need you to save my life right now." I didn't have time to explain much. This girl in front of me was like a gift, sent from heaven in a time of crisis. The original model was very tall, and her frame was also larger than that of an average girl. With less than half an hour until the show, I couldn't find a female model with a similar figure at all. But Li Li was very tall. She was very tall and slender. And Ni's eyes lit up after seeing Li Li. After an Ni explained for a while, Li Li understood what had happened. She was naturally very willing to help. Soon, the sand dress was put on Li Li. Unexpectedly, it was a perfect fit. A few of the undone seams, I fixed them up a bit. 20 minutes later, a magnificent, brilliant sand dress once again shone dazzlingly on Li Li. I looked at the work before me and was extremely satisfied. I suddenly remembered she had said before that she also worked as a part-time model. The dress on her didn't look out of place at all. On the contrary, it looked very high-end, more like a work of art. Everyone around exclaimed in amazement. Only in the corner did Gu Haoming practically grit his teeth. He never expected that I could turn this disaster into a blessing. It was a rebirth from a dead end, but now he was out of options. He could only watch me take my work onto the stage to present. But Gu Haoming wasn't too scared. After all, his work had received a composite score of 95. To surpass such a high score was absolutely not an easy task. Soon, it was mine and Liz's turn to go on stage. Li Li seemed a bit hesitant. "Brother, I want to wear a mask. This face of mine can't appear on TV." I was a little surprised. Why? Isn't she a part-time model? For a model to appear on a runway like this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Because my family doesn't like this industry. They have high hopes for me, hoping I'll enter the finance world, make a lot of money in the future, not the entertainment or art world. I could understand. Li Li had said before, her family was very poor. The whole family must have pooled all their resources to give her the chance to study abroad, so naturally, they had high hopes for her. Besides, in the competition, a mask is considered part of the costume. I immediately took a piece of cardboard, cut it into an irregular shape, like flowing water. Then I applied a layer of glue on top and sprinkled tiny, crushed blue crystal shards on it. Then I used steel wire to fix its shape. In just 5 minutes, a blue mask was completed. And Ni, watching from the side, was endlessly amazed. And Jia's design talent is truly top-notch. Of course, what surprised me even more was Lila's appearance. After putting on this mask, it perfectly covered most of her face, instantly giving people a sense of hope, of rebirth. The mask I casually made turned out to be a stroke of genius. Soon, the MC announced for number 22 to come on stage. The model and I went on stage together. Lai Lai walked the runway, and I walked towards the podium. Lila's demeanor was very professional. She walked as if on air even in high heels. After I stood at the podium, I began to introduce my work, Sands of Time. I didn't say much, finishing in less than a minute. For the next 2 minutes, I just stood there quietly, along with the audience and the judges, silently admiring this work. This work was truly a masterpiece. Just as they were leaving the stage, an even more astonishing scene suddenly occurred. The originally very long skirt train on the model suddenly started to fall, bit by bit. The sand layer on top was like a melting glacier. That flowing fine sand followed each step they took and poured down, falling onto the stage. That moment seemed to truly make one feel time disappearing. A long while later, thunderous applause finally erupted on the runway. The live stream room with millions of people. Whoa, you only regret your limited vocabulary when you need it most. A single damn can say it all. I originally thought this sand dress was already exquisite. I didn't expect there was a final trick. It's truly too shocking. How on earth did he do that? A perfect combination of design and concept. And the timing was perfect. Every step was calculated. At the final turn, the skirt began to fall. The passage of time was made tangible in that moment. How on earth was that done? Can any fashion majors come and explain? A fashion major says it looks very difficult. And in reality, it's not simple at all. You outsiders think it's amazing. We insiders are already on our knees. Isn't this the work of God? And the live stream room has exploded. Sands of Time also immediately hit the hot search list. My name instantly dominated the charts. People in the industry were already bowing down in droves. Even the outsiders just watching for fun were in complete awe. They just felt that this work was truly soul-stirring. Go, Yuan Dong, and Qin Huilan were also watching the live stream. When they saw the sand dress falling bit by bit, tears were about to fall from Qin Huilan's eyes. The person she raised, me, was so outstanding. The works I designed were still so soul-stirring, just like before. As my mother, her heart was filled with pride. But after the pride, only bitterness remained. Qin Huilan didn't know if she could still be considered my mother now. I seemed to have no intention of acknowledging her anymore. Recalling these past 3 years, because of Gu Haoming, she had done so many things to hurt me. It was originally to compensate Gu Haoming, but after seeing Gu Haoming's true nature, she suddenly felt it wasn't worth it. It's just a pity that it was too late for regrets now. On the other side, Gu Yuan Dong was so excited, his hands were trembling, that I could actually design a work so earth-shatteringly brilliant, worthy of being his, Gu Yuan Dong's, son. Qing Benjia Ren would only have a future if it were handed over to a design genius like me. Who knows? Maybe one day it could become a global luxury brand. The more Gu Yuan Dong thought, the more excited he became. His 2 sons, one was a genius, the other was a genius among geniuses. Perhaps from today, Qing Benjia Ren would become famous throughout the world. Tomorrow, the company's stock would definitely hit its limit up. Yu Yuan Dong was full of confidence. Shuan Building, CEO's office. Xia Qing Shua stared intently at the livestream screen on her computer. Dazed, Gao Qin had been by her side for a long time. Just now, when she came in, the screen happened to show Mr. Gu, so she didn't disturb her. Now that he was backstage, Gao Qin finally spoke up. I didn't expect Mr. Gu to also be a design genius. Xia Qing Xu's brow furrowed tightly. Gao Qin, did you notice the model next to him just now? Gao Qin recalled for a moment. Very professional, very charismatic. Why? Director, did you think her eyes looked a bit like someone? Just now in the shot, it was mostly focused on the sand dress, with very few close-ups of the model's face. Just now there was only a second, a fleeting glimpse. But Xia Qing Shui saw those eyes. They looked a bit like Shen Yi. But the runway livestream didn't have a replay function. Based only on that 1 second just now, Xia Qing Shui couldn't confirm it at all. Gao Qin said, she was wearing a mask. I couldn't see clearly. Xia Qing Shui was silent for a moment. Still haven't found any trace of Lily? Gao Qin understood immediately. Director, do you think that model looks like Miss Lai Li? But Gao Qin quickly dismissed the idea. It absolutely can't be Miss Lai Lai. Although we don't know her specific whereabouts right now, the one thing we can be sure of is, she's probably in Italy right now. Gao Qin had checked her family credit card. A few days ago, she bought a plane ticket to Italy, and recently there have been several large expenditures in Italy. Moreover, the transaction history doesn't show that she bought a return ticket, so Miss Lilai is probably in Italy right now. Besides, their school is indeed organizing a study abroad program in Italy. Xia Qing Shui also felt it was impossible. How could there be such a coincidence in the world? Xia Qing Shui closed her laptop and rubbed the bridge of her nose. What did you come to see me for? It's lunch break now. Usually, Gao Qin wouldn't come in. It was Mr. Shen Yi who was looking for you. He said he called you, but you didn't answer, so he called me. Xia Qing Shui picked up her phone and looked. Sure enough, there were 2 missed calls. She said, I know, you can leave. After Gao Qin left, Xia Qing Shui called Shen Yi back. What do you need? Calling your aunt. Her voice was cold, betraying no emotion. 4th aunt, there's something I want to tell you. Can you promise not to be angry? Shen Yi seemed a little worried. What is it? Go ahead and say it. I won't be angry. That thing in Hollywood. I don't want to go. Sha Ching Sui said nonchalantly. If you don't want to go, then don't. On the other end, Shen Yi finally seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. I thought you would be angry. After all, fourth aunt, you helped build that bridge for me, and I am rejecting your kindness. Xie Ching Shui said with a smile, Aunt, I just thought it was a good opportunity, but if you don't want to go, you can absolutely refuse. Your happiness is the most important thing. I will never force you to do something you don't want to do. Shen Yu's voice brightened up considerably. Thank you, fourth aunt. Shen Yi seemed to think of something else. Can I accept a variety show from another company? Its director Xi's new show. I think very highly of this show. Xie Ching Sui said. Director Xi is the king of variety shows in the entertainment industry. The shows he directs basically all become explosive hits. You can collaborate with him.